Well, if you're watching this later, this is going to be a waiting room for the Xbox Partner Preview. Whenever there's a live event, a showcase, State of Play, Nintendo Direct, things like that, we like to do a waiting room just sort of in anticipation of the event. It's a great way to meet new people who are looking for the event and looking for a place to hang out. So if you're watching this later, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you hit the like button. We're going to be kind of walking through our expectations for the event. Is there going to be anything about Project Helix? I, for one, am looking forward to more looks at the Expanse game. Wanting to see Expanse gameplay in particular. A lot of promising games out there like that one and Exodus. It just continue to look very promising. But we've had promising games not land all that well. And to those of you that are normally here right when the show starts, sorry about the late start. We had a rough night last night. We had a kiddo who must have ate something, and so woke us up at 2:30 in the morning. That's always a fun time, right? And I could not fall back to sleep. It was awful. I was like paranoid that my other kiddo was going to wake up, like maybe we ate something bad or something. And so every time I heard a noise, I like shot awake. Like it was torturous. It was like every single time I started to drift off, I would feel like I heard something. So not a great night. So late start this morning. I was actually just going to sleep in and skip the waiting room, but I couldn't. I woke up this morning around the time I typically do. Couldn't fall back to sleep. So sorry about the late start. Make sure you guys are kind of going crazy on the like button. That does help us out. That'll help us kind of get into and in front of other people. We appreciate it so much. And we are going to be covering the event today. I like covering events like this. I think it's fun. I think it's an opportunity just to see like new trailers, new games, things like that. And so we are going to be doing that. I'll go ahead and send out the tweet. I forgot to do that. How the baby's doing now? She feels fine. I think she just ate something. Obviously, whenever you have one kid get sick like that, suddenly you're like, we all ate the same thing. You're a little paranoid. But there were a couple of things that she didn't eat. So Star Fox is going to be, or Fox McCloud's going to be in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. That looks awesome. I did not know that. I wonder if that's an indicator. Countdown timer, are we riot? Oh, yeah. Here, let me get that going for you guys. I got to go into studio mode. And get the members out and make it interactable. We are going to need a little bit of help in that department today. We are well behind pace, and it's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah, we might not be doing a Saturday stream this week. Let me get a timer up there for you guys. Xbox Partner Preview, and today is the 26th, and it is at 1 p.m. Set, start, show timer. There you go. So, hope she gets to feeling better. She seemed totally normal this morning. She seemed fine. It was so fast, which is always a blessing. So, that and with her allergy, I don't blame you. Yeah. You have a lot of respect for Xbox to do a waiting room for this today. This is just what we do. I mean, we've done this a handful of times for Xbox Partner Previews. I think their partner previews are fun. It's just an opportunity to see more games and more gameplay. Like I'm all about that. I mean, we've got a huge year ahead of us. So Jeff Keighley saying Summer Game Fest is 5th through the 8th. Friday, June 5th will be the 2-hour showcase. Okay, 6th through the 8th will be the play days for media and influencers, and then the 8th will be the Game Business Live conference. Oh, I didn't know that they were doing something. Did it for Doom? Did it for Doom. I don't know what you're talking about, Wired Rope. Doom what? Notice Astrocross wasn't playing Marathon last night. Yeah, I mean, we obviously did our show yesterday, and a bunch of people are obviously making uploads about it. I'm always torn on that. Like, I know if we would have made an upload, it probably would have, done very well if we would have jumped on that, but I wasn't able to. I was able to write, a script for a show. I feel like we had a good show. Cisco says, I hope the Expanse cooks. Thank you for 41 months. And then Han shot first, and so did you. Thank you so much, Joker Quinn, for the first gifted member of the day, and gets us to 148. Thank you, sir. Waiting room for Doom. I don't remember if we did a waiting room for Doom. I think we did. Mouse PI, Replaced, and Pragmata are all the same week. Yeah, we're about to have a bunch of games to eat up our time. MTO with 36 months. That's a lot of months. Thank you for having a backbone with your Crimson Desert coverage, unlike guys like Co, who ridiculed reviewers the other day. I don't think Co ridiculed I don't think he ridiculed reviewers. And a 5-bomb comes in from Ginger Prime and gets us to 154. Thank you so much. I felt like Code's take was very fair on Crimson Desert. He said it was a mixed bag. He talked about why it was a mixed bag. I didn't feel like he criticized reviewers. Are you confusing him with somebody else? I don't remember seeing that. Ko is usually very charitable and kind. Like, that's kind of on brand for him. It's not on brand for him to, like, have a go at reviewers. And Wire Rope with a 5-bomb comes in and gets us to 159. Food poisoning. I don't even know. It wasn't a food allergy. No, we are very familiar with food allergies. We have an allergy in our home, and we know what an allergic reaction looks like. This was literally just like, ate something, you know. She ate something. I think it was she had some yogurt at, like, bedtime snack. I think that's what it was. I think it had maybe just gone bad, even though the date said it was fine. You know, bacteria can just form in weird ways. Xbox is having a partner direct. Xbox is having a partner direct in about 3 hours, and we're going to watch it together. Boiled some ginger or chamomile tea. Yeah, that's not. I appreciate the advice. She's fine. She doesn't. She wouldn't even drink it. So, yeah, probably just like low level. You know, some low level kind of food poisoning, some kind of bacteria. I don't know. We're very, very careful and cautious with that kind of stuff, just because, you know, we're very aware of the food we have and the dates and everything else. So we almost never have situations like that. So that's one of the reasons I was starting late today. I scheduled the show for 9:30 and even then didn't start on time. I was dragging. I think I got like roughly 2 hours of sleep last night. Maybe 3. Chances we get State of Decay 3 information? No. This is a partner preview. State of Decay 3 would not be considered a partner game. It would be considered a first party game. As far as I know, that's what they would consider it, right? So, Asha Sharma. I don't think maybe she will be a part of this. I actually don't know how they're going to handle that. I mean, usually for these partner previews, how did they do it in the past? Was Phil... did they do like something with Phil and Sarah Bond in the past for partner previews? I actually cannot remember. I don't remember how it typically goes. So, starting on time would be lore breaking for the channel. It's true. I don't want to break the lore. Yeah, probably no Gears of War, probably no Fable, probably nothing first party. I don't think they typically do that at a partner preview. Decided to check out all the new PlayStation games in this Xbox partner preview. Yeah. Get your jokes in, boys. Stranger Than Heaven and hopefully Persona 4 today. Okay. They should just AI generate the hosts. Yeah, I mean, why not, dude? Is there some surprise possible for this show? Probably not a surprise. I'm most looking forward to seeing more of the Expanse. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I have to say, you definitely had a point about Crimson taking ideas, says the Malice one. Last night I fought a giant crab that you have to kill exactly how you would kill a giant in Shadow of the Colossus, down to clinging on and stabbing with your sword, no lie. I mean, listen, it certainly is a big game with lots to do and people are having a good time, but it's incredibly derivative and, you know, the way that it launched compared to marketing, I'm just going to continue to say that it's not excusable. It's great that they're fixing it. It just, to me, looks like a game that needed to be in early access on PC. And then, like, a year later, it could have been a huge triumph. Like, I don't know. It frustrates me because of how it was released and how they marketed it. Because it could have been such a better launch. What time is it showing in Eastern time zone? 1 p.m. Eastern. I mean, the countdown's right here. So wherever you are in the world, you can just kind of gauge how long you got to wait. Since the patch, the score went up. Yeah, the score's going up, and that's great. That's good for all the people, especially people who bought it and put in plenty of hours and didn't refund it and had criticisms. You know, that's great. Let the people that bought the game and want to have fun with it have a better time. I'm happy to go back if they can get performance mode working well on the Pro, on console in general, but on the Pro, and then I want the controls to not be awful. I think they're going to have to do an overhaul of the controls entirely. So... that's just letting your bias take over. my bias for wanting honest marketing in a game to not launch with a bunch of problems, yeah, I guess I'll own that bias. Game is great, of course, it has rough edges, but to say it should have been an alpha is crazy. I didn't say alpha, I said early access. When you have a game of that scope and size, I think early access would have been a fantastic decision. I think it would have significantly helped with the issues with controls. It would have helped them iron out performance issues. They could have smoothed out so many decisions. It clearly was built for PC first anyway. I think taking it to PC in early access, I think would have been a great decision. If I have a bias, it's for I want marketing to be honest and for games to launch in a good place. I think that's I'll own that bias. Yes, I'll say that every time a game comes out. Did you see the details from Blundell on the Dark Horse on Dark Outlaws closing? Small incubation team, about 20 people. No ill will, just part of Sony's strategy. Yeah, he seemed to be like, this happens all the time. He seemed to be like, this happens all the time. This is just getting a lot of attention for some reason. And that, yeah, it was like a 20-person spin-up studio in incubation that he said, PlayStation's just changing some strategy, and so they were on the chopping block. It doesn't sound like they had a bad game or missed deadlines. It was just like, we're going a different direction, and you're not a part of that. And, that's a bummer. I thought it was a bigger studio. 20 people, it means they weren't even doing anything yet, I would imagine, or not doing much. So Jack Garland says, they made changes based on community feedback within the first 3 days. Of course, it needed to be open beta or early access. Yeah, I think it's just a very fair point. The most interesting thing to me about Crimson Desert is the degree to which people have defended it and attacked me because they think the game is good. And it's like, you can think the game is good while also acknowledging the marketing was misleading and the launch was poor. I think that's a fair thing to admit. I think even the people that are liking it have at least said that in many of the videos I've watched. I think it's in a good place, but it may not be a fit for you, and that's fine. But the way you portray it is as if it had launched akin to Cyberpunk. It's nowhere near that. It didn't launch near Cyberpunk. It launched in the same way. It had a ton of people playing on PC. It had a decent score on PC within the opening weekend. And its performance on console is inexcusable. It's playable on console. Cyberpunk wasn't even playable. But it's so similar. It's eerily similar. The Defense Force is very much like, oh, it's fun. I'm having fun. I'm not having problems. It's very similar. It's not to the extreme degree, but it's almost identical. It's like overhyped marketing, and then the product doesn't look anything like the marketing. I don't know how you can look straight-faced at the console footage and be like, yeah, that's totally fine. It's so similar to what Cyberpunk did. Marketed the game in a way, and it looked nothing like that on the consoles. Like, defending how that game looks and runs on consoles is one of the weirdest things as well that has happened in this situation. It's like they just straight up misrepresented the product, y'all. Like, I don't know what else to say. They hid their console performance, and then the release confirmed our suspicions about console performance. Right. I don't that was a slam dunk, and people want to act like my coverage and my predictions about it are inaccurate because people are having fun. Those things pass in the night. They're not refuting one another. Dan with a member plus, welcome back in, Dan. You're going to play Starfield on PS5. What say you? I have no interest in Starfield. I think it's a very boring game. I will say that the Terran Armada DLC looks cool, like the vibe looks cool, but I just know that I'll play Starfield for a couple of hours and I'll just be bored and not like the gunplay. I think the gunplay is fine. It's like serviceable, but I don't know. I tried to get back into the game to prepare for Shattered Space, and I just feel like Starfield oozes boredom. There's something about it. The way I've described it is if you've ever gone to like your grandma's house or like a nursing home, and like the temperature of the building and the smell makes you almost instantly tired. It almost has this like oppressive effect on you. You're like, oh, I'm tired. There's something about the vibe of Starfield. Like when I'm in a town, when I'm talking to an NPC, I'm just instantly bored. I'm just like, ugh. Like the game doesn't speak to me at like any level. The trailers do, but once I'm in the game, I'm like, I'm just kind of bored. Yo, Jay with 34 months in the VIP. Crimson Desert marketing was very misleading, which is why I won't ever be picking it up. Hiding console footage, knowing how difficult it is to get refunds on consoles is scummy. Thank you so much, Jay, for jumping back in for 34 months. That's a lot of months. Which is why I appreciate Nintendo games seldom launch with a million bugs. Yeah, I mean, they've certainly had their losers, though. I mean, the one Pokemon game was pretty bad, but generally speaking, especially now on Switch 2, like Mario Kart ran really well. You know, the Metroid game ran really well as far as I know. Switch 1, you obviously had performance issues, but that wasn't because of poor game design. That was because of the weaker hardware. That's not really the same. Like, poor performance in Crimson Desert is because of the devs. It has nothing to do with the hardware. There's plenty of games that run perfectly fine. Absolutely, Lono. Despite the new number of hours I have in Starfield, I get what you mean 1,000%. Yeah, I'm never going to try to convince people to not enjoy Starfield. I'm not going to be like, it's bad and you shouldn't play it. It's like, look, I'm glad you enjoy it because it's a big game, but I just can't do it. I don't know what I get into the game and I'm just like, I'm bored and I haven't even done anything yet. So, you know, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. As someone who pre-ordered the premium edition and misses their Nana, I can't wait to visit Nana's house on April the 7th. It's boring. So you have lots of hours in the game and you admit it's boring. That's right. Joker Quinn says, it's only getting worse. It's why I don't even look at gaming stuff on socials outside of Lono or even Luke streams. I can't deal with some of these people, these idiots. What are you guys talking about here? What's Liquid referencing that you're responding to? This gen of gaming has been weird. It's been like this since the last 5 or 6 years. What are you guys commentating on? When did mild criticism become hatred? Yeah, that's been a very weird theme this year. That criticism or saying anything negative about a game, it's just like everybody's being that mom. You all know that mom that, like, as soon as somebody said something nasty, she'd be like, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything. And it's like, all of a sudden, we have this, like, Defense Force nanny behavior, you know, about, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything. And it's like, oh, okay. Sure. What? So it's like, it's just this toxic positivity of like, and I'll tell you what it is. I didn't get to do this yesterday. Sean Toria said something, and I interrupted my train of thought, and I never got back to it. This is what's happening, okay? There are people who do nothing but post negative, slanted, grifting, hate content. Those people exist. It's a real thing. A lot of them are making pretty decent money with the same style thumbnails and the same stupid bankrupt claims about like every game that comes out, okay? They've been here for a couple of years, and it's kind of annoying. However, what happens is those people become a lens through which all criticism is then viewed. It's like, well, that's what this person over here is doing. They keep posting the Steam charts for Marathon, and they're being nasty and hateful, and they're cheering for the game's downfall. They want Bungie to be closed. I show the Steam charts, and I get lumped in. It's like guilt by association. It's like, well, you're showing Steam charts. This guy's showing Steam charts. Clearly, you're both just hating. So that's what I think has been going up. I'm sorry, what's been going on. It's like, there are people that do that. They live on Twitter, they've got YouTube channels, and that's just what they do. They just create toxic, negative, hateful content, right? This man's memory is crazy. Here, remember my comment? Well, I remembered getting into Green Room, Sean, and I remember being like, I was going to talk about this in the stream, and my thought process got interrupted. So, and I remembered that I'd seen you, I think, in chat. I don't know if you said anything this morning. Something just sparked it in my mind. I was like, I remember Sean Torres talking about this, and that's what sparked my thought of like, this is why people keep doing this. They're like, oh, you're just hating. And it's like, I'm not hating. I'm commentating on the game. I made a video on how to improve it. I'm not cheering for the game's downfall, and I don't want Bungie to close. Did you see the rumors about some type of Marathon posting campaign? Not sure if it's true. I don't know, Ginger. It's a comment in a Discord somewhere, and it's like, who knows what that could be. It looks like it was before launch. I think Paul looked into it. It looked like it was before launch. And it was like, I don't know what it was. It wasn't the official Marathon, Discord. So I don't know what it was. Street Shadow says, Lono, I think that response, toxic positivity, is an overcorrection to extremely negative content, the hate farmers. So any nuanced take, like game is good but, gets lumped in with the haters. That's exactly what it is, Street Shadow. That is precisely what's going on. It's like, it's an overreaction. So now what we do is we have like tribalistic hate, and then we have tribalistic positivity. And trying to have a conversations, it can feel impossible, because when we were trying to cover Crimson Desert, that's what it felt like. It felt like we had all the toxic positive folks coming in and saying, you're a hater, you're a grifter, you're a whatever, you're hate farming or whatever. And it's like, okay, right? I don't like, I'm not, what are you guys doing? Like, I was encouraging people to not pre-order a game because we hadn't seen the game on console yet. And so, but that's what's happening, is it's like they feel like they're having to go to war with the people who are being toxically negative, and what you end up doing is you're just creating two factions that, you know, aren't really having conversation. It's like you're not really having a dialogue. And it's unfortunate because, as an example of two of the games I've talked about the most recently, Marathon and Crimson Desert, I have offered insight into ways that Marathon could be improved, criticism, ideas, feedback, whatever. And with Crimson Desert, I was simply trying to let people know, I don't think this game's going to run very well on console. Guess what? It doesn't run very well on console. It doesn't look anything like what they were showing in the trailers. Watch anybody playing this on a base PS5 or Series X, it doesn't look like those trailers. None of that's hate farming or grifting. It was merely taking up for the consumer to be like, you really, really need to be careful when the marketing is like this. I don't like this person either. Very Sony slanted, completely toxic against anything Xbox. I mean, I don't watch his content, so I can't comment, Illuminati. Like, I love Marathon, says Street Shadow. I play it every night, but I can also see that they need to rethink some of the hardcore elements to make it more inviting. I want to try Cryo, but I'm not sure how successful I will be. Well, and Cryo, I think for many people, Cryo was meant to be like this sort of, it was supposed to be like a Vault of Glass moment, and I just don't think that it was, you know. I think that it's clear they're going to have to rethink the future of that game based on the reports we saw yesterday. We didn't even really get into it. Like, Tassie doesn't just confirm that, you know, the analytics and predictions about sales numbers are correct. He's saying that the budget was over $200 million. And he's hearing this from Bungie. So I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to say to people that are like acting like that's hate. Like Reese Elliott from Alenia Analytics is like a fan of the game, and he's like, this is sobering. I mean, they're going to have to do something. I'm nowhere near ready for Cryo. I've been putting in as many hours as I can, but it'll still be a while. Yeah, I checked the numbers again today. I think the most important thing to do when you check the Steam charts is hit that max button, and they haven't found a floor yet. You know what I mean? They haven't found a floor, and until they do, you kind of have to wonder how low can it go before things stop working. They already had people in smaller regions complaining about matchmaking times. The game has been out for 20 days, and there are already people saying, I'm waiting for a long time to get a match. Now, they've made adjustments for those people, but that's a bad sign. I'll never understand the tribalism of gaming sometimes. Do you play games? You're a gamer? Well, oh, man. Where did it go? Old man hunts for chapstick, didn't drop. I found it. Burt's Bees salted caramel, by the way. It's the best. Anyways, now that we're done looking for something on the ground like a weirdo, what was I saying? Oh, tribalism in gaming. I read a book once, and it was about work. Author's name is Tim Keller. He's like my favorite. He did some really good panels and discussions about this as well. And one of the things he talked about is a lot of times there's a work underneath the work going on. So somebody is working to be validated, to be affirmed, to be liked, to have value. And there's a danger in doing that, because if the work is going poorly, then that being attached to you and your value and identity, you feel diminished. You feel like you're failing at a deeper level than just like, well, I didn't hit my sales quota, right? No way you read a book. Funny enough about my whole reading thing, I actually read a lot, but I don't want to read in video games. Anyways. And so, Keller's talking about how there's work underneath the work. And he talks about the danger of, if you make work all about your identity, if you get it, it's going to go to your head and make you terrible, like an egomaniac. If you don't get it, it's going to go to your heart and you're going to die 1,000 deaths. And I think people are doing that with gaming. I do. I think they're doing that with gaming. There's another game being played beneath the games. It's like, it's part of their identity. They need their team to win. They need their game that they're looking forward to win, because that's them winning. I genuinely think that's what's going on. It's an identity. I believe we are in an epoch of time where there is an identity crisis. Like, people don't have an identity. They don't have a third space, and they make everything. Whether it's grifting on YouTube, or, people that dedicate their time to, like, attacking others. We've had our own experience with that. It's like they take their entire identity and, like, they just can't understand, why somebody would be different than them, or play different than them, or like different things than them. Consumption is the new religion. It's identity through consumption. Right. And it's just, I think that's what's going on. I think that's why it gets so personal so quickly. Like, if you just sort of take a second and analyze, there are times where I would say something about, Xbox or Crimson Desert or Marathon. It's a video game. It's a product. And I would get attacked personally. People would say, you're an idiot. You're a fill in the blank. You're just a grifter. You're just a hater, right? Especially when we were doing, like, the Xbox ABK coverage. They made it personal. Now, if you just press pause and you actually look at that from the outside looking in, it looks insane. It's like, so this guy's talking about a product, and he's being critical of said product, and you're attacking him personally. That, at first glance, it's almost psychotic. You're like, huh? You're like, why are you doing that? But when you're operating within that framework, when you're operating within the framework of, like, it's tribalistic and it's your identity, you're going to attack anybody who is criticizing the thing that you've attached to yourself. You've fully integrated with something. You've made it a part of your identity. So then you feel as if you are being attacked. So when I would be, I don't have a Walmart account. What the heck is this thing doing? Anyway, almost psychotic is definitely psychotic. Sorry, I got like a message and I thought, I've been trying to schedule something. I need to schedule an appointment with my, if I don't, I can't get my meds anymore, with my cardiologist, and I thought that's who it was. I just joined What Is He Talking About? We're talking about why gaming conversations have gotten so tribalistic. Zubair says that's the key. It's an existential threat to your identity. It's 100% personal. Yo, thank you, Storm, for 52 months. I appreciate it. Waiting room's about to be litty. It is about to be very litty. So to me, I think that's why I always get so annoyed by it. I'm like, I'm talking about a video game. I'm taking up for consumers. Why are you making this personal? Right? Well, if it and this has been a common theme. This has been a common theme with games the last couple of years. Is they make it about that. Thank you, Storm, for 52 months and a VIP. I appreciate it so much. Lancelot says, Lono, I forever respect your criticisms, even when I disagree with you on Crimson Desert, because of your thought after Black Myth Wukong. I felt your analysis could have saved me money if I listened. Well, I appreciate that. I really do, Lancelot. Thank you. There were people that there were people that the night I showed off console footage of Crimson Desert were thankful. They were like, you saved me money. I don't want to play a game that's running like this on my PlayStation 5, on my base PlayStation 5. True SSJ Havoc says, sadly, Lono, that's the product of our times. Everybody feels the need to have a with us or against us attitude. That's the weird position of these times. I seen the thumbnail while scrolling YouTube about the new Xbox leader. It stated a bombshell for PlayStation due to an Xbox update. I didn't click on it, so I'm not sure what it was about. A bombshell is in like Asha Sharma's getting ready to drop a bombshell? I don't think so. You're already cooking. We're not even an hour in, fams. I'm not trying to cook. Listen, it can be very difficult for me as well because I like a good debate and I get really passionate. You know, and when people are having a go at you, it can start to wear you down and you can start to react and get flustered and frustrated. Like I snapped at Zinthos the other day because we were talking about Marathon and I felt like he was implying that, like, you know, I wasn't being consistent about like Marathon losing relevancy or that it wasn't relevant with the general public. And he was like, yeah, but you talk about it or you cover it. And I got freaking ticked because it was like, of course I do. It was like, of course I do. And I snapped at him because it was like, it starts to wear you down, you know? And then when like you feel like one of your own are taking a shot, it's easier. It's easy to get frustrated, to be like, you know, a drive-by person I don't care about. Zinthos has been around for years, you know. I'm really starting to believe that the vast majority of people are emotional thinkers, not critical thinkers. And further, they don't even know critical thinkers exist. They assume everyone is emotional. Well, and that was interesting too, Zubair. I kept saying that when we were covering some of the stuff recently. I was like, man, you guys are in your emotions. I can tell you're in your emotions. You're responding with anger. You're not responding with facts. You're basically yelling at me. You know what I mean? Console players who go online to provide feedback for crossplay PvP games get attacked by the entrenched PCP players who have copy-paste responses as they swarm the devs with balancing madness. Are you talking about a particular game where that's happening? At this time yesterday, Marathon had 3,000 more players. It's continuing to go down day after day. Yes, it's I'm not quite sure what they're going to do. If you guys haven't done so yet, hit that like button. We are waiting for the Xbox partner preview. It'll take place in about 3 hours. Thank you for being here. We will be co-streaming it, and we do these waiting rooms. It's a fun time just to hang out and just talk games. We're just talking why it feels so tribalistic lately and why any criticism is labeled hate when it used to be the opposite. Like, criticism was really valued in the past. Wired Rope says, there are a whole people that watch you in their Discords every morning because they have nothing better to do. Well, and Rope, I'm well aware of that, and I just think, there's just a general lack of self-awareness. Like, people, what's the C.S. Lewis quote about, like, happy making mud pies because they have no idea what a day at the beach is like? And it's like, I just think people live lives often where they're like, this is great, and they don't see themselves. You know what I mean? They think what they're doing is awesome and fun and entertaining, and they're making mud pies instead of going and, for a day at the beach. Yo, good morning, Raven. Marathon should be free for PS Plus subscribers. Well, they have a couple of options to get more people in the funnel, and that certainly is an option, Grayson, to like just throw it on PS Plus. The issue would be, and we've talked about this a lot. The issue would be, I think there are foundational things with Marathon that would need to be fixed before that would really matter. Like, let's say they did a free-to-play weekend. Is that really going to matter in the game's current state? Because people are going to have the same experience they had during the server slam. They're going to have the same experience that, like, I had day one retail. It's just a really unwelcoming, not super fun time initially. Fun can be had. It's like, is it Pete Holmes? Is he the comedian who talked about how your brain holds back all those sweet endorphins? And it's like, run for 2 miles. You're not getting the good stuff. It's all the way back here, right? He's like, give it to me. It's like, no, ride a bike. He did a bit on that. He did a stand-up bit on that. And that's kind of how this game's postured. It's like, all the fun stuff and the good feelings back here. You got to work for it. And the average person's like, I ain't playing a video game for that. Like, huh? Like, that's what it makes me think of. It makes me think of that bit that he did about that. Yeah, the I'm Batman guy, the firing of the X-Men guy. I actually think he's pretty funny. So, yeah, I think you could do a free-to-play weekend right now. You could snap your fingers and make the game free-to-play. It ain't going to matter because the onboarding, it's just not very welcoming, and it takes effort and work to get to the fun. I don't think the average gamer approaches games with that mindset of like, well, I'm going to have to put in effort to have fun. Like, what? That just isn't the expectation a lot of the times. Now, maybe in a FromSoft game, the expectation is effort is required, for excellence and like overcoming, which is where the most fun is had in those games. But there is still some semblance of an on-ramp. I mean, Elden Ring, I think, is a really good example of even FromSoft lightening up a little bit and saying we can make the game more approachable. We can make the game more accessible. I mean, Stake of Marika's as an example, not making you run back to the boss, allowing you this open world that can be explored and you can get abilities and magic and even kind of over level. Those are all ways that they made their format far more accessible and approachable. It's, go compare how Elden Ring is far more approachable and accessible. Compare that to Dark Souls 1. Like, it's completely the opposite within the philosophy of, like, approachability. And yet the DNA of FromSoft is still present. They didn't really abandon their DNA. They didn't abandon their identity. I think also older generations minus Lono are more tolerant of learning new wild controls because the 2000s and the 90s, you had to learn a new control map every time. So you think I'm young and don't remember that? Homie, I'm 44. Don't cite the old magic to me. I was there when it was written, brother. Like, I was there when all these games came into existence. What do you mean? I remember that. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, I can remember a time where every game had completely different control schemes and you had to get out the instruction manual to see what the buttons did. There was a page with a picture of the controller and all these lines. Brother, I remember that. I'm saying minus you because of this game. Yeah, but even the people that are enjoying it are saying that they don't like the controls. Just because you're old and can remember that time doesn't mean it's okay to do that again. Like, hey, remember back then when it was like really hard to get into a new game because the controls were convoluted and complex and even maybe a bit contradictory compared to the previous game you had been playing? Yeah. Do you want to do that again? No. No, I don't. Pyramid Scheme says, your argument only makes sense if we accept your premise, which I think most people who actually like the game would reject immediately. What's my premise, Pyramid Scheme, that people that are enjoying the game would reject? I have people that are enjoying Crimson Desert that agree with me. Or Marathon, maybe. Are you talking about Marathon? The people enjoying the game, there are people enjoying Marathon that have come to my side of things and have agreed to be like, this looks bad. The numbers don't look good. This is worrisome. Hello, Lima. Thank you for 4 months over there on Purple. Thanks for using your Prime. If you guys pay for Amazon Prime, you can help support me every month by making sure to use your Prime over there on Purple. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. We are 25 likes away from the... we're 25 likes away from the milestone of 200. Thank you so much. We've only been streaming for about a half an hour. Yeah, the first Nintendo 64, that's right. Lona really broke out the Aslan line. Don't cite the deep magic to me, which I was there when it was written. That's right. I say that all the time to people that are like, yeah, but I mean, remember back then? I'm like, they talk about PvP and shooters. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I was there when they were invented. I played them. Like, kick on the door waving that 44. All you heard is, don't hit me no more. What? I don't know what that reference is from. Man, you're old. I'm 55 this year. I've been playing games from the age of 8. That's what I'm saying, man. I was there. I played the first-person shooter. I played Wolfenstein 3D, I played Rise of the Triad against my friend peer-to-peer. I played Quake 2 before school every day. I just wanted to get a couple of rounds in. It was awesome. Siege Master with a gifted gets us to 165. We're 10 away from the next milestone. Currently, I owe YouTube 4. So I think when you guys hit 175, I'll owe you guys a 5-bomb. I've been kind of holding off and doing 5-bombs instead to give you guys the opportunity, at least on the day today, to earn the 5-bomb for the 100. That the game takes hours to start having fun. How many reviews out of 2 million people who bought the game equate to a consensus? So the problem with what you're saying, Pyramid Scheme, is, number one, the people that are having fun in Marathon, okay, and you're saying 2 million people. 2 million people didn't buy Marathon. Roughly 1 million people bought Marathon. So it taking a while to have fun, many of them have conceded that. They're like, yeah, that's the kind of game this is. They've not disagreed with me. They've not been like, no, it's fun right away. They're like, no, yeah, it takes a minute to get going. You got to kind of get through the rough opening and then get to the faction grind, get some loot, you know, get a little ammo wealthy, get a little healing wealthy, and then it starts to really click. Plenty of people, Crimson Desert, not Marathon. Okay, take everything I just said and just change the name of the game. Plenty of people who are enjoying Crimson Desert have readily admitted that it takes a while to get fun and good. What? It's the same conversation. You're saying that my premise isn't wrong. My premise is backed by almost the unanimous critique, feedback, and reviews. Even the people that are enjoying the game are like, yeah, it took a while. It's tough in the beginning. It's not quick. I seem to have, and this doesn't make me correct. I'm not doing fallacy of the group. I'm not saying I'm correct. I'm saying this is a generally agreed upon thing. Like the barometer of the game, the Crimson Desert barometer is saying, yeah, it's rough. It's a rough start. The controls, the story, it seems almost a little convoluted. It doesn't explain anything. Even people that are enjoying the game are saying that. My question is, how many people equates to a consensus? You're going to number of people. I'm going to spectrum. If there are people that disliked the game and refunded it, and there are people with 100 hours and they're saying the same thing, I argue that's consensus. You have people that are on the polar opposite opinion of the game. This is amazing, I've got 100 hours, and I already put it down, I hate it. If they both agree on that point, I call that consensus. What's the point of your argument, though? What's the point of your argument? What's to be gained by disagreeing with me on this? Do you honestly think that the opening of Crimson Desert is good? It's polished? Like, I don't quite understand what the point of your argument is. Is it your position that I'm wrong and that the opening of Crimson Desert is totally fine? Even the homies that have 100 to 200 hours in the game don't agree with that. They would not agree with that statement that like, oh no, the opening's fine and the controls are fine. They wouldn't agree with that. They'd be like, no, these are rough edges that need some polish and some work, and these guys are loving the game. Death Stranding took hours to get into, but once you got into it, you were rewarded by the most beautiful game and the amazing story. That's a similar example, Dan, but I also think it's very, very different. Death Stranding wasn't unwelcoming and clumsy. Death Stranding was slow. It was like, and there were so many cutscenes. It was tough to get into Death Stranding for very different reasons, but that is a fair point. You're like, Lono, it became one of your favorite games. Like, you had a really good time with it. It's not unanimous is the point that I'm making. I would argue that the feedback that Crimson Desert's opening is not very good and could be better with respect to approachability, onboarding controls, like explaining things, what have you. You know, I would argue that the vast majority of the people playing the game would agree with me. I just think that they would. You can go read negative and positive reviews that highlight these things and agree that these are things that should be worked on. For goodness sakes, the people that are playing the game are celebrating the patches that are targeting these things. They're happy that these things are being discussed and fixed. $5 super chat from True SSJ Havoc. Lono, what you just said, mirror you, and I agree about Starfield. I have 100 hours, and I can agree that it's super boring. Yeah. I love Crimson Desert. It does need polish. I don't always agree with your takes, but I love to see it from another POV. Love the streams. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Mr. Deadpool. Is Death Stranding worth a playthrough? I think so. Yes, I do. I think if you can get to that point where it clicks, it is just a wonderful game. My advice to you is if it never really clicked for you, the way I made it click for me is I turned the difficulty all the way down and just immersed myself in the world and story, and it was like there was something almost hypnotic and therapeutic about it. I wanted to do the stuff. I wanted to deliver the packages. I don't know. I think when the game got out of my way, it helped. When the game got out of my way, it was because if you have it on normal, you're going to fail and you're going to lose stuff and drop stuff and you're going to die, and that can be annoying if you're not. I got those things out of my way just so I could get immersed in the world and the story. There's a story. Oh yeah. There are some crazy things that happen in the first game in particular. I mean, crazy things. I mean, I loved it. I thought the side story with Mama was like the best one. I thought it was just incredible. Thank you for using your Prime sub over there, Fluffsta97. I appreciate that over there on Twitch. Thank you. I'm indifferent on Crimson Desert, says Mediocre Milton. The exploration is awesome, but the controls are bad. The story is bad, and the quests are mostly bad. No, I don't want to escort another guy on a horse for 10 minutes. Yeah, I've seen people that like the game even take issue with that some of the questing is just, like, monotonous. Attack of the 50-foot woman. Persona 4 Revival is coming. Oh, is that going to be today, you think? With Death Stranding 1 on Game Pass, I think I'll be trying it out. Here's the thing. If you go into a game knowing the rough edges, so in the case of Death Stranding, I would argue that it's a rough start. Those are rough edges. You're asking a lot of a player to just like watch. I mean, it took me 4 hours, and then I was like, okay, I get it now. How many cutscenes do you have to watch in the first 4 hours? It's lengthy. There's a section of the game, I think, where you're just watching cutscenes for almost 45 minutes. That is a big ask of the player. You are asking a lot. That's abnormal. Kojima just do what Kojima do. He's just like, yeah, I'm sorry. You just have to listen to dialogue for the next 37 minutes. And the average player's like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would argue those are rough edges. That makes it hard to get into the game. If you go into it knowing that's going to happen, you know what you're going to do? You're going to ensure that you have a long play session to do it, and you're waiting for it. It doesn't take you by surprise. Do you see? If you go in, you're like, oh, I've got 45 minutes. Let me check out this game. Let me check out this opening to Death Stranding. And 45 minutes later, you're like, I've not done anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the issue. I think the same could be said for Crimson Desert and Marathon. If you know those rough edges, you can kind of go in. You almost have a map. You've got a map to kind of navigate around the rough edges. You know what's coming. And then you can get to the point where you're having fun. I think Metal Gear 4 had like 40-minute ending cutscene. Long cutscenes means more time to smoke. Yeah, I mean, I don't do that, but I'm blown away by the Crimson Desert. The exploration and combat is up with the best of them. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be real with you. I'm jealous of everybody that's having so much fun in that game. I am. I'm not storming the castle and saying stop having fun. I'm saying, oh, I wish I could join y'all. I can't do it. The performance. I need that 2.0 moment, and I'm back in there, boys. I'm jealous. I see Force Gaming find some random spear, and I see combat sequences and bosses, and I'm like, dadgummit. Just saying. I'm shocked somebody named Liquid Smoke is all about token up. I'm surprised that we haven't gotten a Red Dead 2 next-gen update. You think Rockstar will release it? There were rumors it was coming. I don't know. Maybe they do like a surprise summer release in anticipation to GTA 6 or something. I don't know. You're a wizard, mother... Oh, man. The memes are stupendous. I feel you, dude. After some patches, you might be able to jump back in. I felt that way when people were able to get over the issues in Jedi Survivor. I felt jealous because I wanted to play it, and I knew from everything that I had heard the story was good. There were people that I trusted that were like, Lono, you're going to love the story in this game. They know kind of where I am in Star Wars fandom. They're like, you're going to love Jedi Survivor. I was jealous. I was like, man, but I couldn't do it. I tried multiple times. Just wait like 2 to 4 weeks and it'll probably be perfect for you minus the crappy intro. The intro will forever be bad. Yeah, I don't know how much they can do about that. They could skip the intro. Let's be fair. You could skip the intro. You could do a quick cutscene and just skip all that. You know what I mean? Just do it. It's a flashback. Just have Cliff like wake up in the one place, and he could be like having flashbacks of what happened, and then he's on his mission and his quest. That whole opening is just such a waste of time. It's like, what are we doing here? It's just not necessary. I think sometimes those types of openings are actually better when there's less. Like, less is more. Like, I don't need to go sit down and have dinner and then the dinner to be interrupted and then to have a very like slapped together tutorial fight. That's just, none of that's needed. The combat makes me want to boot back up into Dynasty Warriors. The exploration makes me want to boot back up into Red Dead 2. The Abyss makes me want to boot back up into Tears of the Kingdom. I'm getting mileage from my backlog. Yeah. Crimson Desert standalone expansion might be good. Oh, like a Phantom Liberty moment? I don't know about that. Yeah, John Crimson, that's right. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in. We've got 2.5 hours until the Xbox Partner Preview, so be sure to hit subscribe if you want to come back on another day. I do a talk show like this Monday through Friday. It's just about gaming in general. I keep it safe for work, so you can subscribe with that level of confidence that you can listen pretty much every day. Do me a quick favor and also hit the like button. That does help me out. Try to get us to 300 likes. We are working on a goal on the channel. We have a member goal. I know a lot of people don't do memberships on YouTube, and that's okay. You don't have to. All the content here on the channel is available to you, but we're trying to get to 600 paying members. We are currently at 543, so we've dipped a teeny bit. That's usually just because some folks are waiting to re-up. I've been meaning to go through my backlog. Been playing through Deltarune, Buckshot Roulette, and other indies. Madam and I tried Sworn last night, which is a Hades clone with co-op, and we liked this one more than we have others. We've tried other ones. There was like a Wizard of Legend or something too. I forget the name of it. We didn't like that one. People keep encouraging us to play Absalom, and we just didn't like Absalom. We got to a boss where you had to parry. He was like swinging a scythe. And neither of us could get the parry timing down. And so we just kept getting to that boss and dying. We had a pretty good time in Sworn last night. We didn't play it for very long because we wanted to watch the first episode of Daredevil. And but we tried it out. We took a break from Pal World the last 2 nights. I'm playing Deadlock and having so much fun. A lot of people seem to like it. Add co-op to Crimson Desert. If they added co-op to Crimson Desert, Madam and I would play the frick out of it. It would be like medieval Pal Worlds to us. We'd be, it would be very, very fun. That Absalom boss is easy peasy. I couldn't figure out the parry. I honestly felt like it was broken or something. We played when the game first came out. We played it like the second night or something. We tried Ember Knights. We liked Ember Knights for a little bit, and then we got sick of it. Undying Dirge with 32 months. Thank you. Says, chat, click the like button. Thank you so much, Dirge. 35 hours into Crimson, each on PS5 Pro and on PC. I don't agree about needing 8 hours to get into the game. There's no noticeable change 8 hours. So far for me, it's all been consistently enjoyable. Yeah, there are people who liked it from moment one, and I wonder if it's expectations. Like, if you were expecting a single-player MMO, Marathon has reportedly sold 1.2 million copies. Yeah, we covered that yesterday, Perfect Image. Is there something new in that tweet? That looks the same to me as the stuff that we covered yesterday. 90 hours into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Crimson Desert can't hold a candle to it, and it runs flawlessly. Well, I think the reason that people would choose Crimson Desert over Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the third-person action thrust. Like, I think the combat to many people is superior. 10 gifted members from Broken Earth over here on YouTube. Thank you so much, Broken Earth. If you guys want that Saturday evening stream with Madam, we got to be at 500 members by the end of the week, and we are well behind pace. It's Thursday. This is a great day to be generous with those gifteds because there's tons of people that are in chat that are, maybe they've never been here before. It's 3 million copies sold now. Wait, hang on. I think we're crossing wires. The 1.2 million copies sold was for Marathon. That was this thing we covered yesterday. The 3 million copies sold is Crimson Desert. I think we're getting our wires crossed here. Crimson Desert is simply an amazing game, and the Steam reviews, have gone up. So the fixes have improved people's POV. You're not wrong. I'm never going to argue that improving a game improves its score. I would not argue against that. That'd be like arguing against the tides of the ocean. Why would I do that? That's naturally going to be the result of fixing a game that had lots of problems. My issue continues to be the way that it looks and runs on console. I think it's unacceptable in 2026 to have a game run and look like that. It's just very poor. And it doesn't look anything like the marketing. I'm not going to budge on that. They could do 18 patches in the next 24 hours that dramatically shifts how that game looks and feels, and I would still feel the same way about how it was marketed and how it ran out of the box on console. My position on that won't change because you can't go back in time. You can't. People wasted their time, energy, and money on something that looked very different than what they were promised. And I take issue with that, and I'm never going to change. Now, I'm cheering for the game to have a 2.0 moment because I would like to play it. And I would like all the people that bought it, that wanted it to be good, and can't really enjoy it because of the performance and the controls and everything else on console. I would like for them to be able to play it and enjoy it as well. Yo, what's good, Kat? Good to see you in the chat. No Man's Sky was the same. It went from negative to positive over time. It's natural. Yes. And listen. There are people that to this day won't overlook that, and they won't give No Man's Sky a second glance because they feel like Sean Murray and Hello Games misrepresented the product. They won't give it a second chance. So with Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk did almost the exact same thing. Cyberpunk had a respectable score on PC. Cyberpunk at launch had like a 70-something on PC, respectable score. It wasn't awful. They had like 1 million concurrents in the month that it came out. The next month they were still peaking in the 200,000 players, and the game was awful on console. David with 27 months, thank you so much. I remember there was a time, anytime Cyberpunk came up, there would be people in my chat that are like, I don't know what you're talking about. Cyberpunk was never that bad. And we slowly discovered that the people that thought Cyberpunk was never that bad, they were playing on PC. And a 20 bomb comes in from Cat and seals the deal almost on 200 right there on the doorstep. Thank you, Cat. That's a big one. First 20 bomb of the day. Appreciate you so much. Got an 82 positive response now on Steam. No, you have to, not globally, it doesn't. You're looking at just your region. I think globally matters for a game like that. It has a 77 globally. And props to the fact that they have improved the score. I'm not trying to take away from that. I'm just trying to give perspective of like, this game went from being marketed as the second coming to, well, they're fixing it and the score is going up. Homie, that ain't the triumph that we all were thinking this thing was going to be based off of the marketing. Be honest. Back when you were watching the trailers, did you really expect this to be the dialogue? Well, it's not in the 60s anymore. It's in the 70s. They're fixing it. It's not in the 70s anymore. How do you think it turned out? Yo! Oh my gosh! It looks amazing. It looks amazing. A friend of mine across the street, he had like a knight. It's literally like an armored knight made out of tin that his dad gave him, and it had fallen a couple times and had gotten bent and it was rusting. And the guy that did my furnace. Super nice guy, and saved me tons of money replacing my furnace for me instead of going through a company. I was like, I bet you he could fix it. I bet you he could fix this thing up, because he's like, do you think that guy could fix it? And I went and looked. I was like, oh yeah, he totally could. So I texted him, and he's already, it's completely transformed. It looks incredible. It's like shining, and like, it looks new. It's awesome. 90 Belly Boy with 35 months. Thank you so much. We're at 199. We're just teetering on 200. Have they said they will fix console performance for Crimson Desert? I don't know if they've spoken to it specifically, but I would like for them. Cat says, come on, chat. It's an easy 2-pointer. Cat sets up an easy 200. She's like, somebody dunk it. To be fair, I play on PC, and I totally agree with you why you don't like it on consoles. I agree it looks like crap on console. Yeah. And I think that I don't think it's hate to point that out, and just to say, I think they should do right by the console users and get the game looking much better and running much better on console. The whole we're not hiding anything. I just think that entire dialogue and all that bluster from their head of PR or whatever, I just think it looks ridiculous now. It's like, you were hiding. What are you talking about? Dynamite Black with 32 months. There it is. 200. All right, I'm just going to do a 5-bomb for you guys. And Jack Garland is the agent of chaos, and he pushes us to 201. Thank you so much. And Psycho Hex is going to do the same thing. He's just going to inch us past that 200 mark. That's okay, boys. We need it. If you're going to unlock that Saturday stream with Madam, it's an extra stream where I have my wife react to gaming news. It is a public stream, so anybody can watch. And there is the 5 members that I owe. Thank you so much. Here's the thing, and this kind of harkens back to the conversation we were having earlier about like tribalism in gaming. Both things can be true, y'all. You can be having fun in Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert could have things about it that are arguably pretty awesome. I've seen footage and I've seen some cool stuff. It can also be true that they hid console footage and they were misleading with their marketing. Both things can be true, guys. You can have an amazing celebrity or an amazing athlete who's also a piece of garbage and, like, beats their wife or something. Like, both things can be true. Something horrible can be true about something that's also kind of great. It's like, it's always like gutting when you think, man, this actor and this athlete's so awesome, and then you find out that they're a terrible person and they've been doing terrible stuff, and then you see their mugshot and you're like, frick, what a scumbag. But boy, he could run a good screen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hang on a second. This guy says you're almost there. What do you mean I'm almost there? What are you talking about? O.J. Simpson was a pretty good running back. You know? The man could run a mean flank. Hoping they showcase Icarus, new survival game coming out today. I'm really interested in trying that out with my wife because we've been enjoying Pal World, and I wonder if we could get into Icarus. I wonder if we could. She's not going to want to walk away from from Pal World because she loves it. We almost have too many co-op games now because I would like to grind Sworn with her. That'd be fun to see how far we could get in Sworn. We're loving Pal World, and then there's this Icarus game coming out. Victor says, I saw a number of folks who have gotten later into the game upset about the mounts. All the footage of bears, wolves, and dragons, but they limited it to like 15 minutes of use and then a cooldown period. Really? Yes, Greg, that game is coming to console today. Yes. What's up, fellow Kirby Air Riders fans? I know we all want it to come to Xbox, but I am just going to let you know that is highly unlikely and you shouldn't expect to see it today. I appreciate the update, Dalton. Listen, there is one thing I love about the internet, and that's people's commitment to the craft of like keeping a joke alive. I love you. I love you for that. Some of you guys just, your commitment to some of the jokes, you will not let them die. And the Kirby Air Riders joke, that's a special one. I really do. What are we waiting tonight? There is an Xbox partner preview in about 2 hours. Just the base game of Icarus has a ton of content. The game has a little bit of jank to it, but it's worth trying if you enjoy survival games. Here's the thing about games like that, and this is kind of an issue with Pal World, right? You know it's not going to be that great with respect to like shooting in combat. Like you just kind of know that it's not, which is unfortunate. Like imagine a game of that size and that, you know, all the stuff you can do, and then it has like the feel of, like the shooting feels like Apex Legends or something, or Titanfall, or Destiny. You know what I'm saying? Like that'd be crazy if the gunplay felt that good. Have you seen the trailer to Oh My Doug? Who's Doug? What? Do you think that the 60 FPS performance mode was a last-minute add-on to Crimson Desert on the base console? It's amazing to me that they didn't even use upscaling at all. It's weird, isn't it? It is weird. I don't know if it was a last-minute addition. I just don't think it was a priority. I think it's why they were hiding console footage. Asha announces an AI-generated Bloodborne at 60 FPS. Not like this! My dad's Doug. Well, there's people out there using his name in vain, you know? Oh my Doug. Like, you should do that, like, in a workspace. Just mess with somebody. Like, if there's a guy named, like, Steve or something, you'd be like, oh my Steven. And he's like, what did you say? I said, oh my Steven. What do you mean? He's like, I've never heard anybody say that before. Like, are you serious? Me and all my friends say, oh my Steven. Like, if we're really upset. Like, Steven, dang it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just try to keep a straight face. Just totally use some guy's name as a swear. He'd be like, I've never heard anybody do that. You're making that up. I'm like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? Quit Steven around. You've clearly heard somebody say this, Steven. Jason Schreier saying, I keep seeing people saying that Ghost of Tsushima's cost that was only $60 million, which seems highly unlikely to me. I looked into it. It turns out the source of the widely spread claim is a LinkedIn profile of somebody who left the studio 4 years before the game shipped. I mean, you sound like Chit. Yeah. Yeah, success. Just trying to put that game on your radar. It's a Metroid game with Cuphead graphics. Wait, I'm sorry. Are you saying the name of the game is Oh My Doug? I thought you were I thought you were talking about a trailer for something else. What game are you talking about? Oh My Doug is an indie game, a Metroidvania where you play co-op with yourself. Hang on a minute. Who made Doug and Lily? I can't find it. Is it only available as a trailer right now? Bit of an issue if his name is Dick. Can you quit Richarding around? You know? That's not how you say it. Oh, yeah, it is. Where I come from, we don't talk like a bunch of heathens. So quit Richarding around and get in here. You Richard head. Xbox partner events are third-party games mostly. That's basically in the name. Yes, that's what it means. Mm-hmm. I'm not being like snarky. Like the name Xbox Partner Preview, it'll be third-party games, yes. Which I think is great. PlayStation does the same thing. PlayStation does a state of play, and it's like no first party at all. I love it. Let's just show me games, boys. You know what I'm saying? That's all I care about. Co-op with yourself. How does that work? I don't know if you're old enough for this conversation, J-Rock. Well, I mean, you know, there are ways. Surely we will see Persona 4 revival. How is Richard these days? I don't know. I don't know what he's up to, man. Richard was a horse. If you know the origins of Richard in Red Dead Redemption 2 with Hillbilly Jack, then you know the deep lore. You know? Forget Persona 4. Where's Persona 6? In my day, we called it... yeah, I'm not saying that out loud. Remember back when Nintendo demanded that all third-party devs make games exclusive for Nintendo? Oh, yeah. They burned their third-party relationships pretty bad in that era of time. Reforged, what's your thoughts on the rumor of Netflix and Xbox Game Pass situation? And is Lidor the originator of the concept? I don't know what Lidor is. Is that a typo? Here's what's probably going to happen. And you guys are going to hate this. And so will everybody that tries it. And it will likely not go very well for Xbox. But this is what I think Asha Sharma's probably going to do. She wants to offer lower tier subscriptions of Game Pass. Well, let's just get this out of the way. You're not going to spend less money and get more. We know this. That's not the way anything ever has worked ever in the history of ever. So you will not spend less money and get more. So you got to separate the conversation pieces. The Netflix piece is not what I'm going to talk about right now. I'm going to talk about the lower price. You're not going to get a lower price tier of Game Pass. And they're like, hey, we're just including Netflix. No, I don't think so. So, a lower priced version of Game Pass is just going to include ads. There's no other way around it. If she's having conversations, which I had a whole monologue on this that I was going to do, it's just sitting on a shelf now because the marathon numbers hit and I shelved that show. Something that you should pay close attention to in the dialogue with Asha Sharma and lowering the price or having lower tiers of Game Pass, she was actively involved in a conversation with the guy from Netflix. Now, what do you think that conversation entailed? Hey, this is the kind of revenue and, user base growth and saturation and subscriptions that we got over here at Netflix when we offered a lower tier that includes ads. So she's probably sitting there taking notes like, oh yeah, that sounds great. We'll do that. We'll offer a $7.99 tier of Game Pass where just like when you're gaming on mobile and you got to watch an ad before playing and then you got to watch an ad before going to the next level. They're going to figure out how to do that, y'all. You just write that one down. Tuck that one away, okay? I don't think I have a crystal ball in predicting this. I think anybody with a brain is looking at this and saying that's what they're going to do. You never are going to pay less money and get more. You're going to pay less money and they're going to get their money somehow, and they're going to get it by showing you ads. Okay? We know that they were thinking about this for a long time. So that, I think, is likely where that goes. And here's the deal. It doesn't really concern you if you're already on Ultimate Game Pass because it's not going to be a subservice tier for you. It's going to be a subservice tier for all of the people that aren't currently using it. That's why I don't think they're going to get great results from it. They're not going to get great results from it because how many people right now are not subscribed to Game Pass and they're going to be like, I'm not subscribed to Game Pass and I don't really game like that. But if you made it $8 and show me ads, sign me up. I want you to think about who in the world's going to respond to this. I don't think gamers are going to respond to it, and I don't think non-gamers are going to respond to it. I think it'll be a big fat nothing burger. I think they'll offer some lower tier with ads, and it'll be the lowest conversion rate in the history of their subservice. I don't think anybody's going to sign up for that. They're just not. Second piece of the conversation. This is actually far more interesting, because the guy from Netflix, he had some interesting comments about Game Pass. All right? He had some interesting comments about Game Pass. Allow me to read them to you. All right? So he's talking about how they're going to potentially find a way to work together. Okay? And, you know, are they going to put a Netflix subscription and a Game Pass subscription, you know, into the same bucket? And this is, his name is Greg Peters, okay? He's like co-CEO of Netflix. And he said, you would have to do it in a way that works for the consumer and works for both companies. And frankly, I think Microsoft's still trying to figure out how to make the Game Pass bundle work for Microsoft. Did you hear what this man said? This man's coming fresh out of a meeting with Asha Sharma, and he's like, listen, if we do something with Game Pass and Netflix, it's got to work for the consumer as well for the companies. What he's saying is we got to make money on it or we're not doing it. Microsoft's got to make money on it or they're not doing it. And he says, and frankly, I think Microsoft is still trying to figure out how to make the Game Pass bundle work for Microsoft. That is a very, very telling comment from him. He's like, what he's saying is it ain't working for them. They're still trying to figure it out. That is an incredibly telling statement from the man. He's like, they want to make it work for Microsoft. They haven't even figured out how to do that yet. Do you want to know why? Microsoft's looking at Game Pass and thinking, what the heck are we doing? We're giving away some of our most valuable property to people that spend, they can sign up for a month and then cancel, and they can play a $70 high-end demand retail game for $30. So, price hike again? I tell you what, the biggest thing that's under threat, it's not Game Pass and it's not a price hike, it's day and date. It's day and date. There's no there's no calculus that makes it work, because you can wait and sign up and play a bunch of games. I want you to imagine that it's December and you've got more free time. And you're like, I tell you what, Gears of War E-Day came out, Fable came out, a new Call of Duty came out. 3 games totaling $210 retail. I'm going to sign up for Game Pass Ultimate for $30, and I'm going to play all of those games. And then I'm going to cancel. There's no calculus where that Microsoft's like happy about that. Say what? You can play like $200 worth of very valuable property that we shipped this year. You can play it all for $30 and then just cancel? Or say it another way. A big game like Call of Duty that you know sells crazy every year, and you're like, oh, I'll just wait for Call of Duty to come out, I'll sign up for Game Pass Ultimate, I'll play it for about a month, get my fill, and then cancel. I spent $30 instead of $70. Do you see? Like, there's day and date, I'm actually saying more than day and date. Day and date, and also their big first-party titles, I think that's the biggest thing that's probably being scrutinized right now. Because Asha Sharma's probably like, there is no calculus here where this is profitable. We're just giving money away. Microsoft's not in the business of giving money away. They literally have corporate policies to prevent contract workers from being paid benefits. They are not in the business of giving money away. These homies are cutthroat. They're not. There ain't no way. So when this guy from Netflix comes out of a meeting with Asha Sharma and he says, frankly, I think Microsoft's still trying to figure out how to make Game Pass work for Microsoft. What he's saying is, it's not currently working for Microsoft. I think that got glossed over in the conversation. Everybody fixated on, oh, we're going to get cheaper versions of Game Pass, and oh, they're going to partner with Netflix. And I'm like, man, I always feel like people miss the finer details. And like that little statement, that stuck out like a sore thumb to me. I was like, homie just said that Game Pass ain't working for Microsoft after coming fresh out of a conversation with Asha Sharma. Sony already said it's not worth putting their day one releases on a subscription service. Anybody with any business anybody with any business sense knew that wasn't there. What in the world? How could this possibly work? It only works if you get such an insane amount of volume from people that sign up for Game Pass, and then a lot of them don't even like play those big games. They just stay on the service. The volume would have made up for it if they weren't playing the games. So then you wouldn't be actively losing sales. But it just never happened. They never tipped over into those echelons of subtotal. They might implement the feature that they have at the AMC Theater A-list. When you cancel, you have to wait 3 months before you can sign up again. What do you think of such a system? Well, ignorance pleroma. Listen to what I said and think about what the consumer would do in reaction to that. They would just wait and be like, okay, now that Fable and Gears of War EA, now that all these games are out, okay, now I'm going to sign up, and I'll play all 3 games, and then I'll cancel, and then I'll be fine. I won't need it again for another 4 months. You just keep waiting. You would wait 4 or 5 months, sign up for Game Pass Ultimate, play all the really big games, cancel, wait another 3 to 4 months, and do it again. You're gaming on, for pennies on the hour at that point. You're spending $30 and you're getting to play. Even if you go on to Game Pass Ultimate for 2 months, that's $60. $60, and you could play all your way through Fable, all the way through Gears of War E-Day. You could play all the way through the new Forza. You are just eating a feast for pennies at that point. $60 for all those games. Just those 3. That's absurd. Throw in Call of Duty. It's insane. It's always been insane. It's like, how do you do that? How do you give away so much for so little? And that's why we always said it's value destructive. You're fostering a culture of non-purchase. You're creating consumers that are... This is the insane thing that Game Pass never... I don't know if they ever saw this coming. It's like you just trained your consumer base to devalue your most profitable product. Games are your most profitable product. They move, they sell, they make money. And you just told all these people that they should devalue the games in their mind. Like, oh yeah, I spend $10 a month and I can just play any game that comes out from Xbox. I can play all these big games. Why would I buy a game? You've trained that person to devalue your games. It's an absurd thing to do to your product. I can't believe they ever thought, like, Game Pass as an idea is not bad. It was the day and date. It was all those big titles. That's what was crazy to me. It was like, this is insane. I always told people it's the best value in gaming, but it's also value destructive, and it's training consumers to think that purchasing games is dumb. It's a devaluation of the product. It's like, why would I spend money on a game? $70 for a game? That sounds like a freaking ripoff. I can spend $10 a month and I can play 6 games in a week that all were $50 to $60 to $70. They've basically been trained that the games aren't actually worth that much money. That's what you're communicating to them. You're communicating to them that the games aren't worth that much. Yeah, you don't need to buy these. We'll let you play them for $20 a month. They're not worth that much. The fact that the common everyday man looking in can figure it out, but the ones with degrees and suit and ties are trying to figure it out. PlayStation just posted new Soros info. Yeah, guys. The Xbox preview event is in an hour and 50 minutes. I'll be honest, I have done the Xbox Game Pass thing, and I have found myself wasting more money to play one game than if I should have just bought it. It appealed to me until I figured out I paid $75 to play one. Thank you so much, Brett, for jumping back in with 38 months added to the total. Remember Packer saying it was the future? A lot of people thought, Xbox included, that they could be the Netflix of gaming. There was a time where I thought they could be the Netflix of gaming. The reason I thought it is because the deal was so good. It's like, I can't imagine this ever slowing down. $10 a month? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, what a deal. But people got fatigued with subscriptions. I'm not a variety gamer, so Game Pass doesn't appeal to me. No, yeah, for sure. If you know what you like and you only buy 1 or 2 games a year, it just wasn't all that appealing. But if you have kids, or if you're a very eclectic gamer and you like to play lots of different games, or you are maybe a bit of a buffet style gamer where you dabble and play a game for a couple of hours and then put it down. A bunch of Saros previews just dropped. I know people said that they were going to play it and that we were dropping previews soon. Yeah, we've got some impressions here. VGC traveled to Housemark to discuss... hang on. To discuss the PlayStation Studios sci-fi epic shooter follow-up. A $5 super chat from Viper. Game Pass would only work if you got people that weren't going to buy and games to sign up. And here's the key. Stay signed up. For sure. Was Returnal too hard? That's a question that Housemark, the Finnish Sony first-party studio behind Resogun, Matterfall, and Super Stardust, wrestled with when developing the latest PlayStation exclusive, Saros. For us, it was about... Hang on. I want to make this a little bit larger so you guys can see the words. For us, it was not about... What the heck did I do? For us, it was not about diluting the Returnal experience and actually just making sure that it could be more approachable to more people. I really like those words, and I hope that rings true in the game, because I don't want the game to be, like, super easy. The game is going to still kick you down, but the difference in Saros is that you come back stronger. It's literally our tagline, but it doesn't mean that it's not a challenging game. It's challenging and rewarding, so every death is valuable. For us, it was about keeping what made Returnal right, and then adding this element that could kind of allow more people to jump in. Like many, when I saw the debut trailer for Saros and the first details emerged, I was initially worried that the game would be made too easy in response to the criticism of Returnal. I don't think Returnal is hard at all once you get... It's literally a game that, like, once you get a couple of runs, like, you speak the game's language. It's not that it's difficult, it's that it's hard to deduce your progress, I think, mostly. We're sitting in Housemark Studio in downtown Helsinki, just 20 minutes down the road. Remedy Entertainment is working on Control Resonant. His small corner of frosty northern Europe has been hotbed for video game development for 3 decades. The team moved to the new digs in 2023 thanks to no small part of the influx of cash it received when it became part of Sony in 2021. During the week, I visited the Nordic home of Love Metal. Press and creators from around the world got to try out the first 3 hours of Saros, a third-person shooter steeped in mystery and bursting with Housemark's arcade origins. Due to the pandemic, the promotional cycle for Returnal was confined to Zoom calls, meaning that this is the first time the team has been able to invite people outside the studio to come and to play their latest game in many years. It's really validating. A lot of us on the team, we knew it was already special. I think unanimously our people really love this game that we're building, and we're constantly pushing to make it better and better. I cannot wait for this freaking game. Saros stars Raul Coley as... I always forget how to say this name. Arjun Devraj. He's a Soltari enforcer sent to check on a group of missing explorers who are feared lost on Carcosia, a hostile planet packed with things that want to kill you. The world of Carcosia seems to be the home to remnants of some kind of sun-worshipping society as you explore the ruins of crumbling cathedrals and labyrinthian tunnels beneath the surface. It is perhaps appropriate that it's being developed in Finland, a country that sees its northernmost areas receive little to no sunlight during the winter months. Loudon, who, with Saros, steps into the director's chair for the first time at Housemark, tells me he's a different type of busy. I think I'm really lucky to have the opportunity to do this, and for me, being a player, I want to be pushed, I want to be challenged, and I want to be really futuristic and special games that really challenge me and show me things I've never seen before. I'm really proud to represent the people in our amazing team because it's a dream we have. There are a lot of very special people. As a Returnal fan, I'm impressed with what I've played so far in Saros. The shooting feels weighty but responsive, and Arjun's movement is lightning fast. The game's art director, Simone Silvestri, tells me he treats Arjun almost like a Formula One car. As an art director in Housemark, my job is to get out of the way, he says, to make sure things are as clear as possible for the players because they have split-second decisions to make, these razor-tight encounters, and we don't want to get in the way of that. We don't want to stop the players. Saros is a beautiful game, running on the base PlayStation 5. It maintained a rock-solid 60 frames per second, complemented with striking environmental design. Here's a little secret. Whoever plays the game and loves to look at the art, when you're done with the fireworks and combat, just look up. A lot of the detail lives at height. Again, we want to make the mid-space as clear as possible, so we put a lot of beautiful details just above the fighting space. Like in Returnal, there's a large variety of weapons to pick up, each which has an alternative fire function that's controlled by holding down the trigger halfway. All of this is reflected in the game's use of the DualSense controller. Yeah, I always turn that feature off, and I just use the bumper. For alt fire because it's easy to accidentally use it if you squeeze the trigger too far. Housemark remains one of the few studios that use the controller in anything like its potential, and it's largely come down to its authentic love for the tactile feedback it can provide. A love that stretches back to the studio when it became part of PlayStation. We love the DualSense. We love 3D audio. We love all those aspects. To me, it pulls you into the experience. It creates a physical experience. We've not talked about it much, but you may have noticed even at the initial terminal, we have the haptics. So it's like you're touching a keypad. We're really wanting to pull you in. I will say the haptics feel fantastic in Returnal. I just don't like the trigger thing. I'm going to get Returnal in the sale just now because you make it sound good all the time. Apparently, it has crappy memory leak issue on PC since release, and frames drop hard until restart. That's still going on. That's unfortunate. This is best felt when Saros' arsenal of guns is exploding across the screen. Each shot feels deliberate and powerful. The enemies you're facing have a lot of health, but the combination of the soundtrack, the haptic, and the visuals makes you feel like you're able to fight back. The guns in Saros are generated from a list of predetermined archetypes, but each of those archetypes have dozens of different variations, meaning you'll struggle to find the exact same gun twice. Wait, what? Hang on, I want to reread this to make sure I understand what they're saying. The guns in Saros are generated from a list of predetermined archetypes, but each of these archetypes can have dozens of different variations. Oh, so it sounds like it's similar to Returnal. Okay. However, this huge list of guns is only half your arsenal. Arjun also has a Carcosian power weapon, a new devastating attacking option that's recharging by engaging in the game's most engaging gameplay loop, the bullet ballet. I first heard this phrase during a pre-demo presentation deep in the bowels of Housemark's new home, and at first I was skeptical. Having sat in over 100 of these presentations in my career, one gets used to marketing buzzwords and convenient back-of-the-box blurbs. However, in the one term, bullet ballet, Housemark has perfectly summed up what it feels like to play Saros. You're not running from enemy gunfire, you're embracing it. This is one of the keys to Returnal, is that it's a dance. You're dancing with the bullets. You're not running away from them. It's not a game of perpetual backpedaling. The more empowered you are to move around, the more empowered you are, I think, to have a very, very good time. So claim your key. You can play me in local co-op. Yeah, when is this game coming out? This game called Damon and Baby? Is that coming out for console? I'll have to look at that later. By giving a shield that can only block attacks, but also not only block attacks, but also absorb them and recycle them into powering your power weapon attack, it fundamentally changes how the game is played when compared to Returnal. In Returnal, Celine was a survivor. Everything you encountered was utterly deadly. Kill it before it kills you. Whereas in Saros, I found myself seeking out enemies, baiting them into shooting me so I could use their attacks as fuel to devastate all around me. It sounds like he's more of a soldier and she's more of the scientist turned soldier. Like, Arjun's showing up as a soldier. He's equipped with battlement. Like, he's like battle ready. Like, Celine shows up and she's like a scientist with like a pistol. She's like, okay, and she, obviously she figures it out. She upgrades. That's part of the power fantasy of Returnal. I think this sounds fantastic, that like you're far more empowered, as a soldier. While some attacks can't be absorbed, they can be dodged through, meaning you can close ground on your opponent. If Celine was Park the Bus, Arjun is Gen Press. Okay, these are soccer terms. I don't know what this means. I'm assuming this means more of a forward press, more offensive focused strategy, because Park the Bus is 100% defensive strategy in footy. The intensity of the mechanics is turned up even further when players engage with the Eclipse. In each biome, a pedestal with a burned hand sticking out of it will tempt players to engage the Eclipse. This changes the visuals of the world and makes the enemies you're fighting significantly tougher. It's a risk-reward system of offering more experience points and the potential of better loot for a far more chaotic experience. See, I wonder if this is like a very quiet and subtle way that they instituted a difficulty setting, right? It basically means relentless pressure. Okay, it's not a soccer term. I first heard park the bus as a soccer term that was utilized by weaker teams to fight for ties because it would allow them to advance. I was taught this by my Korean friend, and so I just assumed it was a soccer term. I think the Eclipse is a very subtle way of instituting a difficulty setting, because you guys that are like, you know, maybe a little bit egotistical about a game like Returnal and you want it to be tough and you want to show off and you want to play the game at its hardest, it's something that you can turn on your own and you're aptly rewarded. I think that's a brilliant decision. If it plays out right, what it should do is it should make the higher skilled player advance better and feel stronger and rewarded for your skill. Like, I'm that guy. I've got 200 hours in Returnal. I'm turning that dadgum Eclipse on as soon as I feel like I'm able. I'm there, boys. I'm so excited for this game. It's not easy to make art in a 10,000 miles an hour game, especially in animation. How many frames do you do to do a melee attack in any other action game? Maybe 10, maybe 12. In Saros, you've got 4 frames. How do you sell expression in 4 frames? Yeah, that's crazy. It's so fast. Greg, if you're going to play Returnal, go watch the first 20 minutes or so of my Returnal gameplay in 2025 stream. It will significantly help you get like your footing, your bearings. You'll play better. You'll better understand like the progress and the meta progression. There's just lots of little tips that I give that a lot of people don't know when they first get in, and I've had so many people come back to that stream and they're like, I'm so glad you did this stream. I got back into Returnal and I've now beat the game. So that's like, if there's something that I've done in gaming coverage that makes me happy, it's that stinking Returnal stream that people got back into the game and beat it because of my advice. It's thrilling because I think it's such a special game. After a whirlwind run through the opening area, I reached the first boss. This was a skill check on my ability to dodge, absorb enemy bullets, and keep track of the rhythmic patterns of enemy offense. Dying is no great tragedy, not least because it gave me another chance to explore the imposing architecture of Saros' world. For the architecture, I really wanted to try neoclassical. This is the art director speaking. Silversti. Because we have the civilization of worship for the Eclipse. I was referring to, neoclassicism is taken from classicism. I'm from Rome, so it's very comfortable for me as a space. And it's all about the worship of the ideas that are embodied by those gods. And so these huge statues, this grand scale, this quiet detail, which is very useful because we need to paint. We need to have a canvas and then paint with gameplay. I'm like, okay, this feels very safe. It's the right canvas, but it's very safe. And so I went to look at Italian futurism, which was actually created in the 1920s as a reaction to neoclassicism. And it was sort of a rebellion. And there was a big clash between these two, because now classicism and neoclassicism are all about permanence. It's all about structure. Italian futurism was all about dynamism, impermanence, and things that weren't supposed to be lasting forever. And when we joined them together, it created this very nice, intense, sharp language that is still felt in grand scale, that is still felt like it was celebrating something. And it took a little bit to mature. It's not easy to work with opposites, right? And when you tell that to the team, they're like, okay, how am I supposed to do this? I really like the way this guy thinks. One of the most interesting things is, if I ever get around to making my Control video, I made the whole script for it. One of the most prominent things in Control is the brutalist architecture and what that communicates to the player and why the building is structured and looks the way that it does. And I do think that there is art philosophy and even belief systems within how buildings are constructed within architectural design. It actually can represent somebody's view of reality or the world itself. Permanence versus impermanence, that sort of thing. But how many players like me on my first run are so laser focused on the gameplay itself that the world becomes a beautiful blur? Silvestri smiles as I bring this up, an internal struggle he had and countless Housemark artists before him had faced. Sometimes you sell the expression on the impact of things. It's about where do I add the juice? Where do I really meaningfully enhance the action that the player is doing? It's a very different challenge, and I really, really enjoyed it. Saros looks beautiful, but so did Returnal. As graphical advancements diminish in terms of what end users actually get to see, I asked Silvestri if there was anything he wanted from the future of technology from an artistic perspective. I think there's two sides, right? You know, more power, more possibilities, and just putting more stuff on the screen and having it can be a bit of a trap. No good art direction. It's about removing sometimes and focusing on the shape language, focusing on the color palette. Is the image working without all the detail? They better hold on to this guy. They better hold on to this guy, because this is one of the key things I think going forward in art direction. You're going to remember Saros. You're going to look at Saros and even Returnal years from now. They're memorable. They're recognizable. They look good. They will always look good because of the art direction. You got to hold on to a guy like this that understands that. This is going to keep you away from the trappings of everything's photorealistic. Everything's just pouring the lighting on. Everything's just looking like an Unreal game, right? Like, I think you got to hold on to a guy like this that understands how to make something look good even by just stripping it down. And because you can end up hiding mistakes in the detail, but then on the other side, what I could really use more GPU power on, for example, is the amount of reactivity in the world, because that's also what we are specialists in. And the gun is your voice, and you scream at the world, and the world has to answer back. The enemies have to answer back. I think we did a good job with that. Hold on to this guy. Do not let this guy go. Winged Wheel with a gifted member. Do not let this guy go. Listen to what he is saying. Like, what's he want for more GPU power? He wants more reactivity in the world. The gun is your voice, and you scream at the world, and the world has to answer back. Don't let go of this guy. I'm telling you, he gets it. And I want them to make another game. Please make a third game. I hope Saros crushes it. I hope it crushes it, and they make a third. I'm there, boys. I'm there. You already know I'm a big Housemark and Returnal fan, but this guy is preaching right now. Like, this is exactly what we've been talking about when we say, oh, the next iterations of consoles and hardware, it's not going to be about the graphics and just getting more frame rate or more resolution. Give me better physics systems. I've been saying that for weeks, and this guy's saying it. He's like, if you give me more GPU power, I want more reactivity out of the world, because that's what's going to make you feel like that was a special experience. That was immersive. I'm telling you, they better never let go of this guy. He's got vision for this sort of thing. I love what he's saying. I absolutely love what he's saying about how to handle art design and getting more GPU power in particular. If I had any other ounce of power in there to go at this rock solid smooth 60 FPS, which we do on the base PS5 and Pro, I would just add more reactivity. Champion this sort of outlook. Literally put him up on a pedestal and champion this and tell other developers, this is what matters. This is what will make your game memorable. Shiny surfaces and photorealism have become passé. It's like we just expect games to look good. This guy gets it. He absolutely gets it. If you have rock solid 60, focus on the other things. Reactivity is CPU bound. He's saying he would get more if he got more GPU power. He would add more reactivity in the world. He doesn't seem to be agreeing with what you're saying. He's saying that's what he would do. If he got more power, that's what he would do. Whether it's CPU or GPU, how do you know CPU bound is? How do you know reactivity is CPU bound? It depends on how the game is built. It's impossible not to see the parallels with Returnal, which are perhaps unsurprising given that Loudon served as the narrative director on the game. In fact, eagle-eyed Returnal fans will notice that Henry Kruger, Returnal's director, who left the studio in 2023, is credited on the game. Saros development started right after Returnal. A lot of us were focused on Returnal Ascension, our DLC, but for Saros it was a very small crew. Harry was there. Vil Kanunen, our art director from Returnal, Henry Mustonen, and I, setting down that original vision for Saros. From there, we've had a really wonderful team of collaborators who have joined it. It's transformed many times, kind of like Carcosa, but in the end, it's been a long road. It's actually coming out 5 years after Returnal, April 30th, the exact same day, which is really exciting. However, Saros is not a sequel to Returnal, and while there are plenty of similarities, the differences are just as stark. In Saros, players earn experience when out on a run that can then be used back at base to permanently upgrade Arjun, while upgrades are eventually gated by which bosses you've defeated in order to stop players feeling overpowered. This is a fundamental change. I need to reread that. Sorry, my brain was somewhere else for just a second. Okay, so in Saros, players earn experience when out on a run that can then be used back at base to permanently upgrade Arjun, while upgrades are eventually gated by which bosses you've defeated in order to stop players feeling overpowered. Good decision. This is a fundamental change to the punishing loss of progress felt by many in Returnal. With Saros, Housemark achieves a feat that's rarer and rarer in the modern video game industry. They're shaping two games on the same console. We've had a really amazing team. This is a dream project, and it's a dream team. Everyone is really focused on delivering the best game, and everyone is really invested in this type of vision and really wanting this kind of challenge for players with our gameplay, challenge players with our story, with our art direction, sound direction, like in all aspects. Whoops. Where did I go? Here we go. So I think we've had a really exciting thing to kind of galvanize around. We loved Returnal. We knew we wanted to do something new with Saros, and hence just kind of take what we loved from Returnal and evolve it and keep pushing ourselves. Yeah. Returnal's DLC was free. Yeah, Ascension. Yeah, they consider that a DLC. I mean, it's a beefy edition. It's like when they added Valhalla to Ragnarok. It was just free, but they consider that DLC. One element that has significantly evolved from Returnal and Saros' focus is on storytelling. While Returnal was a huge amount of incredible lore that players can dig through and a central mystery that's one of its most compelling in recent games, it's pretty hard to dig into. There's a reason there's a feature-length YouTube video explaining the eccentricities of the story of what you missed are so popular. We didn't want to dilute it, Ludin told me. We were really excited to add more characters. When we were working on Returnal, there was an idea of let's have multiple characters, and I think I was one of the people who said it's hard to do one character right. Let's just do one really, really well, and then we can grow. Yeah, I loved how isolating Returnal feels. You're quickly introduced to the rest of Arjun's team, including Jane Perry, who starred as Celine in Returnal. Much like with Hades and Hades 2, new dialogue options are revealed every time you return to the starting area, meaning that while frustrating, deaths are even more rewarding from the narrative perspective. So it sounds like they took a page out of that book of like the Hades, all those Hades clones where like you go back to base and NPCs have little exclamation points above their head, right? I didn't pick up Returnal, but I'm interested in Saros. Oh, you've got plenty of time to pick up Returnal and love it. I still think it's the greatest. It is the greatest PlayStation first-party game of this gen. I think it's their best game. I think it's better than everything they've released. It's better than Ragnarok, Forbidden West, Spider-Man 2. It's the best. It's better than Yote, and I loved all those games, but Returnal is still their best game this gen. It stands apart. It is truly unique. It's visionary. It's creative. It's so artistically strong. It's a dadgum masterpiece. It is a dadgum masterpiece. You're not alone on this planet. There are other people that you can meet and love and lose. So it's been there since day one. It's very critical to the experience, and I think the benefit is that they provide new viewpoints. We also have all the stuff that you loved in Returnal. We have these really haunting audio logs. We have some really, really great performances you probably heard from all these different echelon crew that you can discover, and they get stranger and stranger. So rest assured, all the stuff that you had in Returnal was there, plus we've added even more. I asked Ludin if he has ever frustrated by players' complaints about a lack of story in Returnal or the idea that the game's deep narrative was too tough to pick through, leading to all those fan-made explainers. On the contrary, he's a big fan and he watches all of them. Well, my actual frustration with Returnal is we don't get solid answers. I don't like when it's like sort of mysterious. I don't like that. Like, it's amazing as a story, but we don't actually know what happened, and I'm never a big, huge fan of that. I think it's a huge compliment that people create these videos, and I hope they do them for Saros as well. Our story is built to be haunting and interpretive and ambiguous. From the opening few hours, Housemark has absolutely nailed the tone it's striving for. It's deeply uncomfortable and mysterious world to explore. There are very few moments of respite, and I was picking up as many pieces of lore and audio logs as I could. Yeah, Celine is one of the reasons why, and I typically don't do this, you pick up an audio log in Returnal and you listen to what she's saying. It's fabulous. The way the audio logs are written, like the script, and the way she brings them to life, they're fantastic. Like, you hear versions of Celine that are like terrifying and haunting, and she sounds crazy, she sounds malicious. Like, it's fantastic. It's just such fantastic work. I wondered how Housemark struck the balance between the haunting story beats and the fun fair light show of being pelted with glow sticks from all sides. At Housemark, we're gameplay first, so for us, it's about allowing you to go into the gameplay, and it's about protecting that flow. With audio logs, we would never make you stay there and listen, and in general, you can skip every bit of the story if you want. That's kind of really wanting to protect the action flow. But to your point, I love the sort of radio show of hearing a haunting log as you're dancing between projectiles and absorbing them. From the opening couple of hours of the game, Sorrow's cast is full of strong performances, with Coley serving as a complicated, intriguing lead. I think Arjun would not be Arjun without Raul, and Celine would not be Celine without Jane. PlayStation could connect us with Raul. And I was there with Harry Kruger, and before we could even pitch the game, Raul just said, I'm in. I love Returnal. I love Housemark. Let's get it. Let's do this. What do you want to do? I didn't know a man could become more handsome just by saying something. Like, Raul Coley's now more handsome. He loves Returnal and Housemark, so he just upgraded in handsomeness. And then we pitched the full game. We pitched the arc. We pitched everything. And he's like, yes, he was really in. And he's been such a tremendous collaborator. He's a huge gamer. We love talking about games. He's played a lot of Sorrows and has given great feedback. And he's actually really good. I think he's brought such authenticity, and he's really pushed the story. For Gregory Loudon, Simone Saversi, and the rest of the Housemark team, the success of Sorrows won't be purely judged on its Metacritic score and its raw sales. Saversi tells me that they couldn't be prouder of his team. He worked together so hard to get this to the absolute best that we can, and now that it's going to go out, I'm so happy and so excited for it. Of course, there's always that tiny, tiny little scary thing about it, but I would say I'm like 90% excited, 10% scared. I read all the comments. I'll watch what you write. I'll watch everything. And the thing is, my mama watches everything as well. So if I miss something, she's going to send it. For Loudon, he's well aware of the reputation of the studio and the pressure on his shoulders. I think for me as a creator, I'd love for people to view the game as mysterious, to view the game as being sort of monstrous, and to view it as moving. I hope that people think this is a really unique and special game the same way Returnal was. I think to me that is our success criteria. Obviously, Metacritic is wonderful and sales are wonderful, and I think we've set out to create something really bold. I really hope people say this is a bold game. I hope it gets a Game of the Year nomination. I hope making it a little bit more approachable just helps it land better in the review circuit. Returnal is available with PSN second tier, I believe. Okay. He talked about it. I can link you the clip. He told them he was in before they even pitched the idea. Hang on. Let's watch this.
Understandable. And they were using me for concept art or something, but it was a picture that was referencing Mass. And at a certain point, Housemark and the higher ups and stuff were like, "Well, why don't we ask him? Maybe he'd do it."
Cool.
So I got an email from my team that was like, "Are you willing to meet with Housemark over a Zoom to discuss a project?" I told you, friendier. And I'm a fan of Housemark, like Resogun and Dead Nation and stuff like that, and Returnal.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm doing it. So I jump on the meeting on the weekend, and, they're, all kind of like nervous and doing the thing, and hi. And PlayStation were moderating this meeting with Greg and Harry at the time. And they have their little slideshow ready to tell me what this game is and all the stuff and pitch it to me. And as they're about to hit play, I stopped them. And I said, Housemark are a fucking incredible studio. I'm a big fan of your games. I want you to know that my answer is yes before you pitch, based off reputation and what you guys do. And I was like, so it's already a yes.
Tell me what we're making.
Now tell me what we're doing.
I love that. I love that. He was like, I'm in. Working with you guys, you are the pitch. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you are the pitch. You don't need to pitch me on the game. Housemark is the pitch. That would be like if I got an email to visit the studio or to play the game early. You know what I mean? I would just see Housemark and be like, yeah, I'm there. Right? Remember when we watched the trailer and I said that had Returnal vibes because you saw the spiral in his eye, and then the Housemark name popped up and I screamed my head off. I lost my dadgum mind. Mama, behave. So yeah, I would totally be there. I'm stoked. I'm stoked that people are getting to play it. I'm stoked that people are saying Saros looks like Returnal but feels unlike anything Housemark has made, says GameSpot. IGN says Saros takes Returnal's looper shooter action and twists it into a whole new cosmic horror bullet fest that aims to eclipse its predecessor. From playing 3.5 hours, I think it's doing just that. Oh man, you just love to see this. The fact that it's getting this level of reception from the previews. Bullet Hell TPS Saros centers on persistent growth system and interaction with bullet patterns. In Returnal, it was an obstacle course. Saros is a playground. A $5 super chat from the Gaming Ledger. I'm so excited for Saros. I loved Returnal, and now with a bigger budget, I can't wait to see how they incorporate the story to the gameplay. Anybody that's going to get Returnal on my recommendation, please watch my stream, Returnal gameplay in 2025. Please be sure to watch that. It will definitely help you get your footing. It helps people return to the game and beat the game. I would say at some level a bit of an expert in the game. I don't really say things like that typically about games and games that I've played, but when it comes to Returnal, I would say I'm in somewhat of an expert category, and it's a very helpful video. Is it confirmed not coming to PC? I mean, they've not confirmed it, but they have not launched day and date single player tentpole titles ever. I don't think they were going to start with Saros, and you know, I don't know if they're going to say anything about it either. It helped me beat the game. I love hearing that. Can confirm his stream on Returnal helped me beat it this past November. So Tremolo is saying I helped him beat it. RPG is saying I helped him beat it. I absolutely love that. I wish there was a way to get all those testimonials to Housemark because I can't get their attention. I typically don't try to get review access to games, but dadgummit, I would I would absolutely destroy my schedule to play and review that game if I could get Housemark's attention. My gosh. There's few games that I would do that for. Like, I wouldn't have done that for Yote because I wouldn't have had the time. It's just too big of a game. So I haven't beaten it, and I blame you, sir. That's your fault, Hilly. You didn't watch my stream about how to beat it. Add me to Biome 6 kicked my butt until you came along. Really? Another person that beat it. That's amazing. Never got through the first boss. We'll have to check out your video. Yeah, see if my video helps you. See if it'll help you out. It's a really, really wonderful game. Is Returnal your favorite game of all time? It's in the running. It really is in the running. I absolutely adore it. It's my one and only platinum on PlayStation. I got every single gun to 100%. I could boot it up right now and just play it for fun. I could just run Biome 4, 5, and 6 just for the fun of it. Returnal is easy to me now. Like, it doesn't even feel... It's difficult for me. The best way for me to understand why it is such a hard game for people is to go back and to play Biome 1. I think Biome 1 is one of the hardest biomes because you have nothing. Some of the guns are also trash in Biome 1, and they're killers later in the game. The Dreadbound, as an example. The Dreadbound is horrible in Biome 1 because you can't keep uptime to like stun the enemies to keep them from shooting you because it's too difficult. It doesn't shoot. It doesn't have perks. It just isn't good. It's not good for Biome 1. And a lot of people don't know that. Like, you don't know that until you've played hundreds of hours, to be fair. So, like, the idea that you can get a gun in Biome 1 that might look stronger, statistically speaking, but it's garbage for the biome and you should leave it. Like, you could have, like, a level 1 carbine and, like, a level 3 or 4 Dreadbound could drop, and I would say leave the Dreadbound. It's going to kill you. You're not going to be able to keep damage and stun uptime. You will die. You're nerfing yourself using certain weapon types in the beginning. They're just not good enough to keep up. What's the best, Carbine or Hollowseeker? Hollowseeker. Hollowseeker can get Portal Turret and Portal Beam, and it can absolutely melt. It can do dot damage. The Hollowseeker is absolutely bae. I mean, it is the gun. It is the gun. It is him. Like, that's the gun to use in almost every circumstance. Now, there are other guns that can go crazy, but Hollowseeker just gets it done with you don't have to do a lot of thinking with the Hollowseeker. Certain guns, like Dreadbound, is roll dependent. Some of the more explosive weapons are roll dependent because they can be insane and they can melt. But if you don't get a good roll, one weapon to another can feel like completely different weapons, and it's the roll. As an example, the Spitmaw Blaster, like late game Spitmaw, you can get a late game Spitmaw that's like rapid fire, and it's got the tight spread, and it's got the extra range, and you're just like, I mean, you're just melting stuff. And then you'll get one that doesn't have that, and it's like, joom, 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 and it's got the spread, and you're like, oh, this gun sucks. It really does come down to rolls sometimes. Like, you're like, this gun sucks. Well, it does, but maybe you got a bad roll. Hollowseeker carried me and melted the rest of the biomes. Yeah, the Hollowseeker, it's hard. You can't really get a bad roll on the Hollowseeker. Like, you can't. It's hard to get a bad roll on the Hollowseeker. You can get a bad roll on, like, a Dreadbound. You can get a bad roll on a Spitmaw, and then they're harder to use. Carbine with leech rounds is merciless. If you can get carbine with leech rounds and spinning up, I think that's what it's called. Sometimes I forget the name of the perks, but I know what they do. Where it gets faster the longer you shoot it. Oh my gosh. Like the carbine's just like singing in your hands. It's awesome. The thing that kills with the rot gland lobber. The rot gland can be absolutely merciless, but it can also be frickin' terrible. If you can get Hollowseeker with Portal Beam and Portal Turret at the same time, it's broken, I think. Is Returnal and potentially Saros movie series material? I could see it in the same vein as Alien. I mean, you got Rising Pitch, thank you. I always forget the names of the perks. I just know what they do. Spinning Up is probably the name of the perk in Destiny on the one gun. The one AR. The Gambit AR. You could certainly do a movie with Rahul. I mean, he's fantastic. You certainly could. Oh, was the Suros regime the one with Spinning Up? Thermogenic with full auto. Thermogenic with full auto, and if you can get the larger clip, like the larger magazine, oh my gosh. It's like, it's like, what is this? How is this legal? All right, we got something else to read while we wait for the Xbox partner showcase, guys. Make sure you're hitting the like button on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the amazing turnout again. We're going to watch the show in about an hour. Digital Foundry has tested 20 games with the PS5 Pro new PSSR system. Let's see what they have to say. The reveal of an upgraded PSSR and Resident Evil Requiem set the stage, but the March 16 firmware update to the PS5 Pro brought about the full delivery of the promise. Sony's revised Upscaler, a product of the fruitful Project Amethyst collaboration with AMD, didn't just enable the new technology across a range of select titles, but it also offered up a system-level toggle that essentially allowed users to swap out the older, somewhat lacking PSSR for the brand new version. And that's the primary focus of this piece, to return to the games where PSSR 2 didn't quite hit the target, but PSSR didn't quite hit the target, but PSSR 2 could make a difference. Let's get down to brass tacks and explain the 3 ways in which the new PSSR can be activated on the PS5 Pro. Firstly, there are 11 titles whitelisted by developers where the new system software completely removes all evidence of the first PSSR, effectively forcing the new version. We've already looked at 5 such games. Secondly, there's a system-level enhanced image quality toggle available on the front end. By default, it is disabled, but turn it on and any game or indeed demo that uses the old PSSR will now switch over to the new. Finally, there's a small group of games that ship or are patched with the new upscalers. Recent releases like Resident Evil Requiem and Crimson Desert fall into this category. So officially, at least, there are 13 games we can confirm that natively use the new PSSR, either by being new games or by the system software whitelist. Basically, you should be using the enhanced image quality toggle to see the full benefit. Once you have done that, you will see the prior examples we have tested with the new PSSR effectively translate over to the vast majority of games out there. At a stroke, Sony has improved the vast swath of the Pro's library. In Gran Turismo, for example, fine edges on cars and painted lines on the tarmac are no longer breaking or shimmering. They look more coherent in motion. Already, decent PSSR supported light titles like Assassin's Creed Shadows look even better. In that case, the presentation is sharper, with distant texture detail more clearly resolved. The old PSSR exhibited a strange film grain-like noise when the image was at rest. The new PSSR eliminates this problem, looking cleaner and more stable. I noticed this in Yote in particular. It just looked like crisp and sharp when I was just kind of standing there. And when it was off, the older PSSR, there was almost like a fuzzy... It was this very, very low key, not super noticeable, but it was almost like a fuzzy, slight shimmer going on. And it's gone. It looked crisper. It's hard to describe, and I think that's the best I can do. It's also better equipped to handle more challenging reconstruction scenarios, exemplified by titles using Lumen Software RTGI. This is ray tracing global illumination, like we see in Assassin's Creed Shadows. The original PSSR tended to misinterpret Lumen's artifacts as noise, amplifying the problem. The new PSSR seems much better at distinguishing genuine detail from stochastic noise, now looking as stable as Epic's own integrated TSR scaler. Foliage also was a challenge for the old PSSR, with the brilliant Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, and Hogwarts Legacy genuinely struggling, often looking worse than existing upscaling solution, especially in motion. Yes, even FSR2. The new PSSR does a far superior job in maintaining decent-looking foliage and suppressing noise. Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Outlaws also see visible improvements, with a far cleaner look, even if there is a slight increase in flicker in some scenarios. The next test, particles and transparencies. These effects are challenging for upscalers to deal with, often because there are no motion vectors for the technologies to work with on these elements. The result is that often these effects are diminished and can disappear completely. The original PSSR wasn't bad in this respect, but there's now a sharper presentation to these elements and less tendency for these components to dissolve into the background. I was also impressed to see excuse me. I was also impressed to see the screen space reflections benefit too. Astrobot wasn't a particularly great implementation of PSSR back in the day, with noticeable SSR flicker. Did Ollie write this? It's reading like how he talks. Yes, Ollie wrote this. I could hear Ollie. I could hear him. Like, I've watched so much of their content. I'm like, this is how Ollie talks. This is now resolved with the new PSSR. More patterns on fine fabric patterns and reflective surfaces, as seen in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart's opening set pieces, also are much improved and suggestive of higher resolution. But it's not complete across the board success. In fact, we've yet to find a fully comprehensive upscaler that can address every single problem area. So there can be some new quirks specific to the new PSSR, or existing artifacts that look different now, but they still aren't quite right. In Star Wars Jedi Survivor, ray trace reflections can look sharp and noisy in motion, especially in watery, heavy scenes, and some might prefer the older, blurrier look. Here, you need to weigh up the artifact against clearly superior results elsewhere. We've also seen a subtle dot pattern in some new PSSR presentations embedded into textures. It isn't especially distracting, but it's not light. You hear his voice while you're reading? Yeah, it's funny how he writes, how he talks. Similarly, and perhaps inevitably, Dragon's Dogma 2 showcases where the new PSSR excels and where it retains lingering issues. Superficially, it's actually doing a great job, but at the same time, distant foliage looks strangely blurred. Similarly, a bizarre holes in the RTGI issue, where moving the camera reveals missing or undersampled GI that fills in over time, is still there, especially in the lower resolution performance mode. Assassin's Creed Shadows, heavy rain can sometimes vanish against certain backgrounds. That's really weird. The new PSSR image quality boosts don't impact system performance, as with Monster Hunter Wilds test demonstrates. So they're doing balance mode, PSSR 1 and 2, and your frame time is still at 42. The thing is, the drawbacks need to be weighed against the improvements, and they are far less of an issue in that context. And you can't help that targeted patches from motivated developers could make all the difference. Further testing has been confirmed that the new PSSR, with all its benefits, has the same operational cost as the old. Mark Cerny says it's 100 microseconds faster. This was confirmed in our test of Monster Hunter Wilds, while Hogwarts Legacy suggested differences on the order of half a frame per second over extended captures, easily fitting into the margin of error territory. All of which makes the lack of official upgrades for Sony's own first-party games a little curious. PS5 Pro now ships with 2 upscalers, and one is clearly inferior to the other, with few of any disadvantages. The most plausible explanation is process and policy rather than technological outcomes. Developers may be unwilling to put the time and effort into a new QA pass, for example. Still, we see no reason why you should not engage the enhanced image quality toggle. And in fact, some of the results we've seen are potentially even more mouth-watering. Consider this. From an 846p resolution, Alan Wake 2's 60F performance mode on the PS5 Pro looks better than the 1270 30 FPS quality mode on the standard console. Wow. This is potentially very empowering for developers who can focus more on quality of pixels than quantity of pixels. In conclusion, though, we're now looking at in excess of 25 games in total on the PS5 Pro using the new PSSR, and it's a major win. A drop-in replacement that cleans up most of the first-generation upscalers' issues without compromising performance. There's still room for improvement, but in image quality terms, this is the moment where PlayStation 5 Pro finally starts to look like the machine it was always meant to be. Yeah, and it also really dispels the notion, like people kept saying that PSSR was being replaced by FSR. That is not true. So we had that debate back then, and I was like, I really think people are misreading what Mark Cerny said. He wasn't saying that FSR would be replacing it. He was having a drop-in replacement that was learning from FSR 4 and Project Amethyst, and it would be updating PSSR, which we now have concrete evidence that, like, that's quite literally what they did. So at the time, I was one of, not the only, but I was one of the few people that were reading that, I think, correctly. I think other people were maybe intentionally misinterpreting it. I don't know. PSSR uses some FSR4. It does, and that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point, is that you are getting an improved version of PSSR because of FSR4. FSR4 was better because of PSSR1. Like, the Project Amethyst, situation is one that's yielding. It's going to yield benefits over the years. I don't know why this person did this. Are you even following me? Who are you? DT Ricks? You've got a really old account on Twitch. You just came in and just said F you randomly. Are you, what is the problem? Your name seems familiar to me, though, so I don't know if you're just goofing around. Can we please get Rockstar to remaster Red Dead 2 with PSSR 2 enabled? Is that true? Sonya Walger has been cast as Freya in the God of War adaptation. Hang on. That's really exciting. Like, she is so stinking good. She's one of my favorite characters from Lost. That's frickin' Penny. That's Penelope Widmore. She's going to be Freya in the God of War show. I hope they can fix how it looks, because that first picture, that photo was frickin' terrible. You going to play Pragmata? Yes, I really liked the demo. Can you tell me the difference between an amethyst and a diamond? An amethyst is purple, isn't it? And a diamond is white. Aren't they like complete? Aren't they different gemstones? Don't play Veilgard, it's trash. I liked Veilgard for about 15 hours, maybe 20, and then I hated it. Like it soured for me really quickly. I ignored Tash because Tash was terrible. Most of the characters in dialogue I thought were fine. They weren't spectacular. I was enjoying the combat. I was enjoying the graphics. I thought it looked good, and I thought the combat was fun. And then it just turned sour for me. Combat was spammy and annoying. Boss fights took for frickin' ever, and I had a really hard time. I had a really, really hard time getting past how the dialogue in certain circumstances just kept getting more and more kind of cringeworthy. It's an abomination to the Dragon Age series. I don't have a long-standing history with Dragon Age, so I didn't have a dog in that fight. So I'm on my second run in Veilgard. I think it got better as it went on. Maybe there's just a valley of repetition and futility. I don't know. I got to a point where I was just like, it was frustrating because the part that was keeping me coming back wasn't the story. Okay. Wasn't the story. It certainly wasn't like the world, because it was pretty, it was pretty penned in. Like, it was fine, but it wasn't like this big explorable world. And it was the combat. And then once the combat went sour, it was like, yeah, I'm kind of over it. Joker Quinn comes in with a gifted member. He's trying to tempt somebody to 20 bomb it to 225, where I'll owe you guys a member. Okami says, Sorrow's final previews and boss fight gameplay. Game of the year contender. Challenging yet rewarding. High risk, high reward. A showcase for the PS5. Returnal was our game of the year, and Sorrows has somehow managed to eclipse it. Jane Perry returns as a side character. Autosave and more than one save file available from the go. Runs are finished in 20 to 30 minutes or less. Housemark's more story-led game. Early results are promising. I don't understand this. Runs are finished in 20 to 30 minutes or less? Where's he getting that information? That sounds very different than Returnal. 20 to 30 minutes? Huh? Sorrow's hands-on report, intense sci-fi action in a beautiful, deadly alien world. And DK Bager gifts a single and bumps the line to 206. Thank you so much, DK Bager. Housemark talk about its upcoming pedigree. There's an accepted understanding that Housemark name brings an expectation of exceptional action, great gunplay, a superbly tuned gameplay intensity by way of ultra-refined and overlapping mechanics and systems. And it's just over a month. PS5 players can experience the pedigree firsthand. Again, with the Finnish studio's latest, as a rescue crew tries to discover the fate of human colony gone dark. Okay, Housemark has shared a taste of what's to come. 20 minutes is nice. I don't know. 20 minutes? Beating one biome in Returnal, even when you're cooking, is like easily a 30 to 40 minute endeavor. They shared a taste of what's to come. Okay, turning threats into opportunities. Core mechanics are extensive. Okay, we know all this. Oops. Sultari's human-crafted tech covers collectible handheld weapons such as hand cannons, rifles, and shotguns. You'll scavenge these as you explore. And while there are multiple variants, each with its own unique perk, they all have 2 fire types. Primary, and okay, we know that. The same tech covers directional dash on L1, which negates most damage. Why did they put dash on L1? What's this from? Each run is designed to last around 30 minutes, enough time to push through Carcosa's biomes. While you might assume these areas are procedurally generated, they are not. Instead, the studio has carefully handcrafted their variations. The biomes also retain fixed structural landmarks that gradually become familiar. This approach allows players to recognize locations and anticipate dangers without removing the sense of uncertainty. 30 minutes to push through. Now, are they saying, they've got to be saying in that interview that your one biome is designed to take about 30 minutes? Because I think the way that they're doing it is the way it saves and the way the hub works, you can just go into a biome that you've already unlocked. By the way, I need to schedule the new stream because we're going to go to it at Yeah. I forgot to schedule. Hang on. Save image. Save. Hang on 1 second. Go live. I gotta schedule the actual co-stream. We're gonna co-stream the preview event and. Okay. All right. Expanse. No. I'm going to set it for 12:45. We'll go over before that, but I want that 30 noti to go out. Did you see the new gameplay teaser shown on the PlayStation channel? I'm going to pull that up in a second to look at it, but I need a quick break. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I was checking on my my daughter. She's feeling fine. Am I tripping for being hyped for Lego Batman? You are not tripping at all. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to play that with my wife. It looks so good. It's like Lego Batman Arkham games. Like all of them shoved into a Lego game. Oh, we've got gameplay. IGN's got 15 minutes. Okay.
I'll try not to do it throughout the whole video and let you hear some of it, but yeah, I'm going to need to narrate a bit. I'll try not to do it throughout the whole talk over this every now and again and provide some commentary. I'll try not to do it throughout.
Okay, I got to go full screen. I gotta see this stuff. Hang on. Okay, so he's got. What is this? So it's an artifact. Pick up, close details. Okay, so it gives him weak point damage. It adds to his resilience. Oh, kills, restore integrity. That's cool. Weak point damage and explosion radius. Okay. Batman has co-op? Yes, the Lego Batman game has co-op. It's been confirmed to have co-op, yes.
The whole video and let you hear some of it, but yeah, I'm going to need to narrate a bit. So this is...
They've been super weird about co-op. Let me get the members goal up so you guys can see it as well as the timer. They've been super weird about co-op. Like, they've confirmed it, but not super loudly, if that makes sense.
A full run of the first biome of Saros called Shattered Rise. And it is going to be one where I complete the boss, so if you don't want to see that spoiled or see what a full run in this area looks like ahead of launch, maybe don't watch this whole video, because...
Yeah, I don't want to see the boss.
You will see all of it, just giving you the heads up. So as you can see here, I've started with a pistol on this run, and I'm just kind of taking out a few little enemies. This one has a red shield, which means you have to dash forward and melee that shield away before you can deal damage to this alien robot thing that kind of haunted this place.
So his melee's a punch?
To this alien robot thing that kind of haunted this planet called Carcosa. Like I said, not going to talk for all of it, but the shield, the S.T.A.L.K.E.R shield, is a huge part of this game. You want to engage that to soak up enemy particles, enemy, what you might want to call it, bullets, that's the word. You want to do that, and then you can fire them back at them like that using your power weapon. This would be the main path we're going here, but...
I'm trying to turn the res up.
I think in a second I'm going to turn up after getting...
Oh, it looks so... I am... Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Okay, so you got another artifact here, +5 drive, and it'll do recoil compensation and missile velocity. See, this is a very, very different approach to artifacts. Like, this is really interesting. I'm wondering, you know, how that's going to feel with respect to momentum. Like, when you find an artifact, it looks like it gives you, like, sort of like a latent gain or benefit, but then it also does something to your gun and your missile, like your your projectile thing that you shoot.
In this upgrade, I'm going to turn around and head to this optional area, which you'll also see me open.
I also just love the heads-up display. Like, let me just show you. Let me get my stuff out of the way. I just absolutely love this. I love the map. I love the grid. Like, watch when he's moving around.
Melee in 3, 2, 1. There we go. You'll love to see it. And here's kind of the remnants of a camp. So Arjun Devraj, he is a member of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, and they've sent like crews to this planet to mine this valuable...
Avrin Devraj. It's hard because this guy's talking with an accent. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to say it. Avrin Devraj.
Mineral called leucernite. And basically, he is the 4th echelon, the 4th crew to go to this planet. His job is to work out what's happened to the previous crews and kind of solve the mystery of this planet. And that was a camp there where seemingly, you know, they've just disappeared. You know what? I'll go quiet for a second and you can enjoy this fight. So you can see there my adrenaline has been reset. That's what happens when you get damaged by an enemy, and your adrenaline is like almost like a power level that builds, similar to how Returnal did it. So if you don't take damage and deal damage, you'll get more powerful and gain adrenaline levels, but as soon as you get hit, that resets and you become base level power again.
Hang on. I just want to see this. Artifact, weak point stagger. Weak point kills stagger nearby hostiles. And then more recoil compensation and missile velocity. So it's like control? No, this is not like... Well, wait, what do you mean? How do you mean like control? This is almost identical to Returnal as far as the movement in the systems and adrenaline. What part do you think it's like control? Yeah, the sound design is so punchy. Oh my gosh.
As you can see, Saros is an absolutely stunning game. This is running 4K 60 on a base PS5 is what we were playing this on at
Did he just say 4K 60 on the base PS5?
Housemark. So on PS5 Pro, it'll look even shinier, I imagine. But yeah, it's technologically an incredibly impressive game. Just runs like a dream, looks and sounds incredible. And yeah, why don't I let you listen to that for a bit instead of me?
This is the importance of exclusives, boys. Like, this is why exclusives are important. You get a game that looks and runs like this on the base PS5 because that's all these guys had to focus on. They had to focus on one system, one game, basically. That's it. This benefits the consumer. It's a consumer benefit to get a product at this level of quality out of the box. It is. Crazy what happens when you code to the metal. Exactly, Mr. Anderson. Exactly. Oh!
So you can also see there when I'm reloading, there is like a Gears of War-esque active reload mechanic, which means you get to reload your gun even quicker. I love that in any game, any sort of gun game that has an active reload in. I'm a
agreed
sucker for.
Oops. 3 command power. This helps with reload speed. Okay, so this doesn't benefit the explosive one.
So I'm very glad to see it in Saros, and yeah, just adds an extra wrinkle to what's already, you know, a very complicated combat dance. But yeah, when it all clicks, it just feels so good.
Oh, okay. So something that's cool about the weapon choices this time is they look more grounded in like normal weaponry. But I've heard, I think, from some of the commentary and some of the previews that there will be alien like weapons or like alien infused versions of these weapons. So the tactical rifle's a level 7. It's got rising pitch, clip size, auto target radius, and damage accumulation, and then super load. See, what I find interesting here, I don't see perks. So I wonder at what point perks are going to come into it. Like, I see one perk, I see rising pitch, and then I see clip size, auto target radius, and damage accumulation. I also don't see a level on the perk. So I'm already noticing pretty significant differences from Returnal. Like, I wonder what's going to happen. Like, will you get a tactical rifle at level 15 or something? Will it have more than rising pitch? Will it have more things? Like, this feels more, this feels simplified in a way. But does it have leech rounds? Exactly. That's the only question that you should be asking is, does it have leech rounds? Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens as the guns get higher in level, because the guns get higher in level in Returnal and there's way more perks on them. I'm not really seeing a place for that.
So you can see here I've switched to the tactical rifle, which is kind of my preferred weapon for this game. Like,
there's
like
two.
The high rate of fire. I like the.
He's looking at 2 different rifles. They both have rising pitch. And this one's got an arrow on clip size and auto target radius and damage.
Range it gives you for this game, and
this one doesn't. So this one isn't going to increase those things. Clip size auto target.
Like the high rate of fire, I like the rate.
Clip size auto target. Okay. Do they both have super load?
Third weapon.
Yeah, they both have super load. Okay. I really wonder about that. That's one of the things I absolutely fell in love with in Returnal. I wonder if they've simplified that, because that was one element of the meta progression in Returnal that was totally lost on people. Once I educated people about it, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that's how it worked. I wonder if they've ditched that entirely.
For this game, like, I like the high rate of fire, I like the range it gives you, and yeah, it just really suits my playstyle, and especially in this first area and the boss, I feel like it really suits the playstyle you'll want to bring to that fight, because, well, you'll see later on that there's a lot going on, and you kind of, a high rate of fire will serve you well.
His adrenaline level went up. Interesting. That is interesting. So that's another new mechanic. You can't like have your adrenaline level go up without killing enemies or using like there's a consumable that'll take you right to adrenaline level 5. He's picking up things on the ground that are raising his adrenaline level, and he's not even in combat. That's an interesting change as well. Like, I wonder if there's going to be, one of the things that was always a bit of a bummer is if you got nicked by an attack right before fighting the boss. You know what I'm saying? That was always a bit of a bummer. So I wonder if they're going to have boss rooms set up with like some things on the ground right before you go in that gets your adrenaline level at least up to a decent spot so that you can go into a boss fight. Melee boost. So the way it works, Jay, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you see a lightning bolt, an eyeball, and then the punch, and then you see the health and the arrows. Those are things that every time your adrenaline level goes up, you get a benefit. So the first, I believe, is easier reloads, easier active reloads. The second's better infrared. The third is a melee boost, so your melee's like stronger and maybe reaches farther. So every time your adrenaline goes up by one level, you get a benefit from that. Once your adrenaline's all the way at level 5, you have all of those. So you're cooking at that point, right? Everything's easier. Active reload's better. You're able to see enemies through the walls. Your melee's better. I don't know what the health one is here. I don't know if we've seen all 5 adrenaline boosts represented. We might see some in the combat coming up. If he doesn't make mistakes.
This is my 3rd or 4th run through this area, I think. You can see that gate's already been unlocked. I had to do that on my very first run, and it was very simple. Just had to shoot one thing, but you can see that while each kind of run shapeshifts when you're on Carcosa, some bits do remain kind of similar. You'll see patterns like shapes of corridor and the way like the layout feels similar each time. And yeah, it's a good balance between fresh each time, but also familiar, so you don't seem, completely confused each time you go on a run.
I love that you can see he's already adapting to the different playstyle. Like, he was putting that shield up, and he was bobbing and weaving and trying to catch their projectiles. Ooh! He's cooking. I can't tell. Does his adrenaline go up from the kill or from collecting? It goes up from collecting. That's also different. Oh, snap. Oh, that's a change. That's a change, boys. They really, really want you pushing. you have to collect the stuff that they drop to get your adrenaline level to go up. It's not just from getting kills. So in Returnal, it's a bit of a separation. Like, you can get all the kills and get your adrenaline level to go up and not pick up the obolites, because the obolites are a currency. In this, it seems like the currency serves two purposes. Want to move the members away from your face? We can't see you speak. You'll be okay.
So you'll get many pickups on each run. That obviously builds your power. And
main weapon kills generate more power. Okay.
And the more you want to explore, obviously, the more powerful you get towards the end of a run. And
I really want to see what Adrenaline 4 is.
You see, there was optional areas there I could have reached if I had what looks like some sort of grapple hook, which I hadn't unlocked in Saros yet. So there's kind of, you know, ever so slight Metroidvania elements to Saros. So you'll unlock like a grapple hook or a super jump layer. Which
he got hit!
Optional areas in some of these earlier areas of the game. And this yellow stuff I'm picking up here is Lucenite. That's what you will use to permanently upgrade your stats at the end of each run. So this is still a challenging game like Returnal was, but it is kinder in the way it lets you upgrade Arjun's character and his stats permanently at the end of each run and unlock things like, you know, improved health capacity, shields, but also, you know, much more impactful upgrades, which I'll tease you'll see later in the boss fight. One really big helpful tool in his arsenal.
Oh, he's fast. Oh, he looks sick. Yeah. So Adrenaline 1 is a power boost. Adrenaline 2 is an infrared boost. We know Adrenaline 3 is a melee boost. I'm assuming Adrenaline 4 is health
rifle
boost.
I picked up there has split round, so that means
yeah,
when
that was a mini
fire
boss.
It now, its alternate fire means that it's going to split off round. So that means when
Okay. So what we have here is there's a bit. So it looks to me like there's a base perk. So these rifles are obviously similar if you look at them. Like the butt of the gun and the magazine and all that's very, very similar. But then they change barrel and scope. And this is a rising pitch, so it feels like you have a latent perk that defines the name of the gun. So a tactical rifle is rising pitch. A smart rifle has split smart rounds. Now, you'll notice something as well. This is a level 11 gun, and it comes with spectral round and extra round. So as it's gone up in level, it now has more perks than just one. So there still are perks in this game, but it looks to me like they've gone a different route compared to Returnal, where you have rifles showing up, and the rifles have latent perks that define the title and name and classification. So you have a tactical rifle and a smart rifle. In Returnal, you just had the carbine. It was always a carbine, but the perks would kind of define how it handled. This is interesting. I actually kind of like this. I'm very, very curious. This is what they meant by archetypes. So there's two visible right now, maybe more, two different archetypes of the rifle. There is the tactical and the smart, and its latent perk defines how it's going to handle. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to play this.
You can see that improved rifle I picked up there has split round. So that means when I fire it now, its alternate fire means that it's going to split off in different directions and kind of home onto targets, which is very useful, again, for the boss, which you'll see coming up. You know, arguably makes it a lot easier than if you had any other weapon at this stage, I think.
Yes, this is a base PS5. It's running 4K 60 on a base PS5. That's got to be the boss wall, right? Gosh, look at this room.
Okay, so
Gain 1 hit of immunity after using Aether. Oh, after healing. Oh yeah. There's a thing like that in Returnal.
Now we kind of hit the big turning point in each biome, where you're going to summon the Eclipse, and well, you'll see. So when the Eclipse happens, not only does Saros like get a complete visual and audio overhaul, but it basically makes all your enemies go a bit mad, and their attack patterns are mixed up. They throw out corrupted projectiles, which you can't at this stage at least. I think you can upgrade the shield so it can protect you against that ammunition, but at this point in the game you can't, so it's only you have to basically absorb the blue ones and dodge the yellow particles. This is my third run through the Eclipse.
8 to command, but it lowers drive, so it would hurt your auto-targeting radius, but it helps clip size. Okay, so there are stats on the gun that are linked to command, drive, and like other things. So when those go up and down, so this artifact is taking away some of the auto-target radius, but it's adding to the clip size. It's also adding something called pressured, which is deal reduced damage when at low integrity. So you'd really have to wonder. This is where you might not pick this up. You might not find this as helpful.
Area now, so I've already.
This feels a little bit like not a malfunction. This feels a little bit like a parasite. How like parasites came with good things, but also could have like latent disadvantages.
I'm further ahead and unlocked the gate to the boss, so I don't need to go ahead. I could, go further down the road, upgrade more, but I felt like I was powerful enough at this point to take on the boss again. So that's essentially what I did. I went straight to the boss after, deciding not to take any of these corrupted pickups, which can be very useful, but they come with a downside, unlike pickups when it's not the Eclipse. So you have to. So
those pickups become corrupted in the Eclipse. So again, they're like a parasite in Returnal, but they don't show up until the Eclipse is going on.
Balance, is it worth it? So for example, you might.
So I think we misunderstood the Eclipse. The Eclipse is actually you advancing through the biome. It doesn't change the biome. It's not like playing on hard mode. I think we misunderstood how that was worded in the one preview. So this one gives you increased integrity repair, but then you lose Lucenite when hit. Okay. And it also increases your damage accumulation and explosion radius on your gun.
I want more resilience, more shield, because you maybe don't care about losing some extra Lucenite, which is what I did there. And here is the boss.
No, we're not watching this. I don't want to see the boss. So, sorry, boys. If you want to watch the rest of that and see the boss, that's an IGN video. You can check it out on their channel. But I don't want to see the boss. We need to go to the new stream anyway. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for this freaking game, dude. I think it's going to get a Game of the Year nomination. I think it's going to get a Game of the Year nomination from the previews and the look and the quality. I think this thing's about to be an absolute... Looks so good. Saros previews sound incredible, shaping up to be a Game of the Year contender. Saros previews sound incredible, shaping up to be a Game of the Year contender. Housemark cooked. Who do I need to talk to get review access? 200 plus hours in Returnal and my one and only platinum, please. I have no shame in it. I have no shame in it. I'm begging for review access, boys. I don't really try to get review access to games, but I want review access to frickin' Saros. Behemoth was 60 months into VIP plus High Lono, 5 years of amazing content, but today I'm not feeling well. Evacuated due to heavy rain and maybe floods. Will hit the house again. I am sorry that's happening, Behemoth. Jiminy Christmas. Thank you for all the support over the years. That is not good. Yeah, I'm definitely code begging. I am 100% code begging. No shame. No, I have no shame in begging for a code for Saros. All right, let's do this. Okay, hang on. We need to switch gears to the new stream, y'all. All right, save this. Yeah, I saw they got the woman. Her name is Sonya Walger. She's the one who played Penny in Lost. She's going to play Faye in the God of War series. Guys, if you haven't done so already, give me some likes on this video. We had a great day and great conversations. So likes always help. Just remix I Want a Phone To I Want a Saros code. That's what I'm saying, dude. You guys should all brigade the heck out of that tweet and say, you know, this man put out a Returnal gameplay in 2025 stream that helped me beat the game. You know? Like, let them know. I'm like one of their biggest fans. Okay. Okay, let me close this. All right, hang on a minute. Okay. I don't need the timer anymore. All right, you guys on purple, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to do anything. Excuse me, you guys on YouTube, hit the heck out of the like button before we get out of here. Try to get us to 400 likes, and then use the link in chat, or you can ride redirect. Thank you so much for checking out this video. This is going to be my co-stream of the Xbox Partner Preview. It's going to go live in 27 minutes. So if you're watching this later, skip ahead by 27 minutes. If any sections of the broadcast are muted, that is not my fault. That means they use copyrighted music or something, and then I'm having to mute those sections. So I apologize if that happens. Make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. It does support me. And if you want to become a member, you can help us with a huge goal. We're trying to get to 600 paying members, and we're at like 540. So click join for $5 a month. You get a badge and emotes, and you get into my members-only Discord. I'm going to end our previous stream where we were doing a waiting room, and we were just kind of waiting for this event to happen. We were hanging out and having a good time.